Okay, we're back. I decided to do an evening stream today just to see what's different. If different people show up, or maybe it's better for some people's time slot, whatever. So, hey, what, Chris? Welcome back. How is it going where you are?
That's fine. We're just here and normally I live in the Dallas area in Irving, but my parents live in Texarkana, which is 3 hours or so east of Dallas on the Arkansas Texas border, and so that's where they live. And I'm just out there at their house right now,
Oh,
hanging out with my daughters and my wife and my family and stuff. It's fine. I'm
oh,
tired for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I
you
slept
think it's
fine last night.
medication?
Yeah, I'm sure it's just getting adjusted to the meds. The Adderall boosts you way up, and then when you come down off of it, it can make you really tired until like that first week or two is done. Until you get to balance on it, it's kind of a roller coaster, but it gets better. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, yeah. You do seem a little different. I didn't notice a difference the last few days, but I noticed one today.
Yeah, I think I just look kind of haggard for some reason, which I didn't notice until I got on camera and I saw myself in the camera. I was like, shit, I look I look kind of rough, but I don't know why.
Well, I'm glad to have you back, and
I
we'll see
watched
what happens.
watched slash listened to a good portion of the show from yesterday, at least about halfway into the section with Joshua before I passed out. But I didn't get a chance to go back and listen to the rest of today. But it was pretty good though. I liked it.
Yeah, we had an interesting conversation. It was kind of the prelude to Saturday, I think. He went into great detail about his childhood. Oh, here's Hank.
Yo yo yo, Hank, how's it going,
Hello.
man?
Hey, we can barely see you. Do you have a light?
Let me
You look
focus
like
it.
a silhouette.
Let me change the settings.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal,
He's just dark, man. Have you ever seen a black man before? Just kidding.
but he's a black man in the dark with no light and in front of a black curtain or like dark curtain.
I used to have this guy that was like semi friends with. He wasn't a racist, but he used to occasionally make this one racist joke that I have to admit is kind of
Don't get my
funny.
channel shut down.
No, no, it's nothing that bad. He would just say it was a music producer guy. Now this is a guy he's the guy that's on that track Yodo, the one that's doing like the intro part. That's actually a friend of mine, Killer Kel, and he
Oh,
used to do all of his like editing in the dark and stuff. And every time this other guy would walk in, he was in the dark room. That he'd be like, "Smile, motherfucker, so I can see you." You know, that every time. It never failed. He said it no matter what. So it was kind of funny the first time, anyway.
Hmm. Probably the color bounces off because of my bright colors, I think.
Yeah, maybe so. The yellow was like kind of a contrast, make sure skin seemed darker.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a whitish shirt or a beige shirt, which is just making my whiteness even more starkly white. So
Yes. And those
so what's
Comedy
up?
Central bricks isn't helping either. Well, maybe no, they are. They're helping.
I don't know why I put that on there. I'll probably change it later. It's kind
No,
of
I think
fun.
they're good. They're probably good.
3 cheers for the built-in virtual backgrounds, I guess.
So what's up, Hank?
Um, I managed to get Jack Talcott on Pine Creek show.
Yeah, I saw it. I watched a lot of it today.
Yes.
Jack is so humble and grounded and calm and gentle. Like the and having him with Doug on the same channel. It was just a big contrast for me.
Yeah.
And Jack's so tentative about everything. I like Jack. He's one of the most likable people on the streams, I think.
I agree.
I saw you on the show. I caught a lot of you on the show last night. I watched several hours.
Yep. Yeah, I made it to the end of the Machine Lies yesterday. Yeah, I was lucky that he was busy today. Otherwise, I totally wouldn't have made it to the end of the show.
I tried to get on a few times, but the stream was full, and people were sleeping on it, taking up slots.
Yeah, that's why I trying to kick Cecil out because he fell asleep.
Well, what are we talking about tonight?
I had something earlier tonight, or earlier today, and I completely forgot now.
Maybe it'll come back.
Yeah, maybe it will.
Any thoughts, updates?
I'm actually gonna take my evening medication real fast. That'll probably help. I think I'm getting. It's just time for me to take it. Okay, 1 second. I can still hear you. I'm just turning the camera off.
Let me go.
Well, I read an article today. It's an old one from 2004 that asserted that prostitution was paid rape. I'll link it to you in the inside chat.
Okay.
It was by
because
it was on psychiatrictimes.com.
So rape, according to my understanding, is sex gained through force.
Right, isn't prostitution consensual?
Yeah. Yes, but I guess they're using a communist angle that the market is a form of force. So that's the angle.
Oh, I don't care what communists think. I have no interest in their opinions. I don't take them seriously. They have no epistemological value to me.
Yeah, but then they try to reverse the argument, put the wall between any kind of labor and labor involves sex. That was completely arbitrary.
I'll take a look. Psychiatric Times. Have they gone communist?
Well, this was 2004, so they've been there. They've been there, or at least maybe just take.
They're one of the sources of woke. They're like one of the 7 heads of the Hydra.
What are the other 6 heads?
I don't know. I'm just.
I think Snopes is one.
Snopes is probably one though. That's probably a good point.
Yeah, I pulled it up and glanced at it. It's something I would read right past if it came across my feed. I did have some tweets, but I think I'm going to save them for when there's not as many guests. But the theme that's emerging now is this is the next George Floyd. There's like protests and stuff all over the country, crowds out in the streets hollering and on fire about this.
Let's pull one of the tweets.
Well, there was this one really upset me. Hang on, let me find it because it was in New Orleans of all places, and this is just not my people. And oh, hang on, I got to change my settings.
Well, Katrina got rid of all the cool people in New Orleans. All that was left was.
And then I moved away.
Yeah, you too.
Orly Stewart's still in New Orleans, so that's one cool person.
It's at Tulane, which is one of the universities there. But so it's on college campuses. That's mostly where these clips are coming from. But they have that one rally in New York that they're telling all the Jews to stay home. Like what kind of rally is that where people have to stay home? You can't protect them. Why are you letting a rally like that happen?
Yeah, really.
All right, here it is. This is Tulane University in New Orleans. Yeah, but if you have to tell a whole group of people to stay home, the rally is a danger.
Oh, no,
don't let it happen.
I was making a joke. I was saying, oh, clearly it's for their own protection to not go to this rally. I mean, it's bullshit.
I mean, it kind of is for their own protection, but that's not the way you handle their protection.
It's not. Yeah, you don't handle extremists that way. You don't be like, well, the extremists can have.
But watch this. Watch it gets violent.
Yeah.
Now this is New Orleans. If you just take all the flags and stuff off, people causing mayhem in the street is definitely New Orleans.
Well, it's like girl slap fighting, but it's still
Well,
violent.
no, those guys though, they hit him with the flagpole, and then they jumped out of the truck and started hitting on him. But see, New Orleans they are masters at art, like Mardi Gras chaos, the cops and stuff. They got this. But this is it's calling to mind 2020 all over again, over a different issue.
Yeah.
Except this time it seems to be so far just confined to extremely liberal cities and college campuses. It didn't take off nationwide like George Floyd did. But still, it's bothersome.
Well, riding was the only way you got permission to leave the house, so.
This does not look like New Orleans at all. It looks like some footage from some other country overseas, Europe, the Middle East. Anyway, it's stuff like that. I've been clips like that have been showing up a lot. It's the left. It's the angry, bitter, upper middle class left that do nothing but sit in their houses and offices all day, but somehow work up all this rage about what's going on halfway around the world that they're not even involved in.
I'm sure it just builds up over time. They sit in those cubicles.
It's narrative driven, and not a single one of these people were overseas. They probably don't know anyone in Israel. They don't have any connection to Gaza. It's something they're seeing on their TV, their computer screen.
Yes. And my answer is, can we just put something else in front of the TV screen? Maybe something more active, like a video game?
No more TV screens. It's all atomized social media where there's 100,000 million people producing content, and you can't really control what any one person's looking at any given time.
Yeah, in one of the early Assassin's Creed game, didn't you go around killing mostly people in Jerusalem? Maybe they could play that,
What game?
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The original Assassin's Creed game is kind of like you're basically an Arab. You're an assassin from like this ancient order, and most of your targets are Israelis. But this is back in like ancient Jerusalem. So, yeah.
Wow. So yeah,
you kill non-Jews too. You kill everybody, but there's a lot of Jewish targets.
How did they get away with that?
I don't know, it was 2006 or something, 2007.
Well, wasn't Hamas elected in 2005?
Yeah, I don't.
It seemed even back then it would be objectionable to someone.
I mean, I'm pretty, and it's also a very supernatural, mystical thing. The whole thing is about the Knights Templar are evil, and they're trying to manipulate this war so they can obtain some magical artifact, which is from aliens. It's called the Piece of Eden, and it's stupid, man.
That's what we need is the aliens.
Yeah, that's the last piece. It's all we're missing. We finally have a full set.
We did the aliens with the we named UFOs as something else that I forgot the name of. So we got
UAPs. Now it's unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Mm.
But not aliens, just unidentified aerial phenomenon.
What was wrong with objects?
They're piloted by squirrels, so.
What was wrong with objects? Did we have ground phenomenon in the air, or is it, we do have to distinguish?
Well, speaking of, I mean, not really speaking of, but I didn't realize Tuesday was Halloween, and we were supposed to finish True Detective, so I thought we'd do like a Halloween party / True Detective discussion.
Yeah.
And tie it all together. So come in costume. Everyone on stream Tuesday is invited to come in costume.
I'll try. I don't know if I have anything that I can
get Lindsay to, even if it's cardboard tacos, get her to make you something.
I was trying. I would have to dress up something True Detective related. I'm just trying to think of what it would be. I don't have any wigs or anything. I'd go as like old Rust, but
Just like a wig with a ponytail.
Yeah, I just shaved my head and everything though, so I don't have any. I probably could have done it without much work right before I did all that stuff. I had enough facial hair and stuff to probably pull it off, but I wouldn't want to go as the other one. Uh, yeah, maybe I'll go as
You
one of
could
his
probably
daughters
pull
or
him off
something.
better with your hair.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'd have to think about that.
Okay. Just
Maybe and I think I could pull off going on as one of the characters in the World's End since we're doing that on Saturday.
yeah, we're doing that on Saturday at what time do we say? 5 p.m.
5:30,
Central.
6, whatever.
And then we're gonna have a discussion of the World's End movie, and we're gonna analyze Joshua Jones's demented psyche and love life
As
with
these things
Emerald.
usually go. Yeah.
So
I think
be
you're
here.
gonna love the World's End. I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Yeah,
you
I'm
gonna,
looking.
you try to come see the movie, Hank?
I
Probably
think
not.
you work weekends, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna be off partially this weekend, but I'm going to Halloween party on Saturday at the church.
What, a Unitarian Universalist Halloween party?
Affirmative, because we don't have any restrictions against that.
They don't have alcohol. They have alcohol.
Yeah, most
Yes, they offer
Most,
alcohol and
churches don't.
caffeine there. Yes.
Like when we were growing up, the church would do Halloween party. The Catholic Church would do a big Halloween party. They'd put on a haunted house. They'd haunt the rectory. That was the place to be on Halloween.
A lot of churches I grew up did that kind of thing too. It just they didn't have alcohol or anything else.
Hey, Juniper. Oh, she looked. She can't hear herself though. She can't hear her
She
stuff.
can hear.
Baby, happy Halloween. Is she having fun? Does she know that she's in a different environment? Is she?
Oh yeah, she's been a little fussy just because she's a little scared, but she's been hanging out with her sister though, and she's pretty happy about it.
Oh, nice.
Her sister will be back home in a couple hours, and then her show's tomorrow. So.
Oh right, yeah. Do you want to stream tomorrow at all? What's a good time for you?
Yeah, we could do it early. I think we're going to the. I thought we were going to the 5 o'clock stream, the 5 o'clock show. I mean, not stream, but now I think they changed it to that we're going to the 7 o'clock show. So, yeah, we could pretty much do it. It only takes us like 20 minutes to get there, so I could stream whatever time up until around 6. So
6 your time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll put it for like our usual afternoon time.
Sounds good. 3 or 4 or something. That's what works for me.
Yeah, something like that. 3-ish. Well, anything else to catch up on? And by the way, as always, if you want to hop on, just click the link in the comments.
One second.
I figured out how to make the TV work, but all I can get it to show is SpongeBob.
Well, let me see. Maybe I can go through some tweets.
You guys, hang on for a minute. I got to go fix the TV for my wife and kids. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Needing TV. That's hilarious.
Yeah, this one guy Daniel Friedman, who I've been tweeting a lot. He says, just so it's clear, when activists stage a rally in Crown Heights on a Saturday and Jews are warned it's not safe for them to walk to synagogue, it's not about Israel and it's not about Palestine. That's just a pretense, and the real target are the Jews in Crown Heights. And then they have that.
Targeted from?
Huh?
Who's targeting them? They're both woke. So why they're fighting?
Who's both woke? You mean the Jews in Crown Heights are woke too?
Well, yeah, probably.
Well, that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying for like over a week now, and the leftists are telling me that I'm mistaken. That the Jews on the left that were normally woke are starting to wake up and realize that wokeness can be turned against them in a very ugly way. Watch this video. These are students. Did you see this one? They're in these are Jewish kids. I think they're on is it a college campus? Yeah, Cooper Union College. I need to look at where that is. They had to lock themselves in the library, and this is New York, and people are banging on the door trying to get them in. This is like something out of a horror movie. Hang on.
If you wake up from being woke, does it mean you go back to sleep?
Look at this. That would bother me. Even as a gay person, I never went through anything this scary.
Yeah,
I had to lock myself in a library with people banging on the door trying to get in.
Yeah, I have a policy for horror movie scenarios. Always be the biggest monster. So no matter what someone else is doing, I'll make sure I one up them. It's gonna be
if one of the monsters is an angry, irrational mob like at Evergreen. How do you become the bigger monster to that?
Well, I'm gonna put it so we don't get canceled. I'm gonna put an RTS term. So how you deal with a mob is you deal with them with a riot unit. You deal with a mob of raiders with a riot unit. So crowd control. That's how I do it.
So you don't become the monster. You just enlist a bigger monster.
Well,
which is what should have happened at Evergreen, and they called the cop, like the city cops, whatever, and the administrators told them not to come. Like the campus police told the city police not to come to campus.
So I have an escalation policy. So pretty much I try to go within the rules at first. If that doesn't work, I'll progressively leave the Overton window for options.
When do the rules not work out? Like, what are the limits of the rules working out? Because to me, that point is very rarely reached.
Rules working out. Super simple stuff. Very simple stuff. Like, where is the restroom? That's the limit, pretty much.
And if there's no restroom, you go pee in the bushes?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I can kind of see that. I mean, people in New Orleans pee on the walls and behind dumpsters and in alleys. All right. I think I'll save the other tweets for later. They're not as immediate.
Not spicy. I mean, we have time to kill. Chris is still playing with the TV.
Fixing a TV.
With the TV. Who's watching TV nowadays?
Well, he's in Texarkana. He probably has to go either adjust the rabbit ears, adjust the aluminum foil, or go outside and turn the pole.
I mean, now the goddamn satellite dish? Come on. Oh, well.
You'd be surprised. I don't know what kind of technology they have out there. I don't know how rural he is and how much technology they have in Texarkana. I know growing up, we had the rabbit ear. We had 3 channels, and we had the big outside antenna that you had to go and turn the pole and point it at the city of the station that you wanted to catch the. So if you wanted to watch ABC, you had to point it one way. If you wanted to watch NBC, you had to point it a different way. And then somebody in the house had to tell you when the picture was clear, or you'd have to keep running back in the house and looking at the picture until it cleared up.
So
I have to change the channel.
Yeah, I have a frame of fun about the modern version. Those they use a digital signal now. They get like 6 channels. It's all clear. The only problem is that when a car drives past, it kind of interrupts the signal a little bit, but it's really the whole chipset's really small.
It's like a digital antenna that you just hook up to your TV.
Affirmative.
Yeah, we had one of those in Seattle for a little while. It worked pretty good. I mean, we caught the main channels, and then we had Netflix and stuff to supplement.
Yeah, I think there may be one in the house that I'm not using because I don't care because I've too much stuff to watch already. I think I have one.
Well, what's good? Because I'm running out of shows to watch.
It's good. Well, right now I've been instigating my own drama, so.
Oh yeah,
remember? Yeah,
the live interactive.
Yeah,
drama.
Exactly.
What's going on with that? Any updates? It seemed like some of them were coming at you on the panel last night.
Yeah, they didn't defeat me, obviously.
That wizard guy.
Yeah, he's unfortunately for him, he didn't do any local politics, so he gets triggered when someone talks over him.
That's what happens on panel. I've never been on a panel where people were talking over each other. Neither has he.
Yeah. So I guess he has to put his big boy britches on and learn how to counter talk or crosstalk, whatever it's called.
That's what I tell people all the time. You should be able to grab the mic anytime you need it. If you desperately need it that bad, then take it. Fight for it.
Yes.
Well,
really and when I gave him time to say stuff, he just did. He didn't say anything. I said, "Okay, come on with what you want to say," and he just said, "Well, what excuse did he make? He just wanted to complain about not having time to say stuff. Maybe give him the floor."
Yeah, and who knows
who are you arguing with?
Machines panel last night. Who knows what like chemical state any of these people are in at any given time? The hat looks good on you, by the way.
Thank you. The what you talking about? The Kim, like Kim before the storm? Is that what you mean?
No, it was
Hecklebuzz. He goes by
Wizard. That who
I kind of liked him last night. He was one of the reasonable ones. He was being a dick.
He and Hank got into it last night.
Huh.
Yeah, he's more of a reasonable one, but he was perpetuating bull crap, saying you could make your own stamps. That's not true. But you
did y'all see? I forgot who. What one of the guys did he wrote on a piece of paper. This is a stamp, like in marker lot. And he told people you could make your own stamps. And so one guy took the stamp to the post office and filmed it. And he went up to the counter and he's like, "A guy on the internet told me I could use this as a stamp. Are these legal?" And the postal service guy's like, "No, that's not a real stamp." And the people in the chat were like, "The feds are lying to you. This is a conspiracy. They don't want you to know that you can make your own stamps." But it all started with Wizard.
That's not even close to as bad as the old thing that was like that. There's the sovereign citizen movement, but before the sovereign citizen movement,
I have a friend that's a sovereign citizen.
Oh God, those people.
He's also a conspiracy theorist.
There was one even more.
Shout to Snap who snaps for that journalism. Normally he's just a troll, but he did actual journalism verifying that claim. So shout to Snap who snaps.
Okay, I don't know anything about that.
These are people that really don't trust our current system, our government, and I don't think have the cognitive capacity to even determine when to trust or not. Like I think it's more of a reflection of their limitations. Because if you don't know how to figure out who to trust, then you're going to be very paranoid and be hesitant to trust anything.
Did you guys ever hear about A4V?
About who?
A4V. Accepted. It was this movement back in the mid 2000s that people were falling for. It stood for accepted for face value. There's like weird ass theory, and the theory was based in some language in the actual Constitution, stuff like that. That's vague enough where you can interpret this way, but it's still stupid because no one recognizes it. But basically, you get any kind of bill, any bill at all, doesn't matter what it is. The worst thing you can do with this bill is to never respond to it, because if you don't respond to it, you're accepting it. But if the first time you get this bill, you take I think it has to be red ink. You have to write with red ink or a red stamp of some sort. and you have to write in large capital letters. I think it has to be capital letters, and it has to be very clear and legible all over the thing in one big thing that says "accepted for face value," and then you return it to the company, and supposedly that will wipe away whatever debt you sent it in. Now, people tried this for years, and guess what? They still keep getting bills because it's retarded. Because there's no reason to think that a company is going to get this thing in the mail that says accepted for face value, and then they're just going to, the debt's not even based in this. It was like this weird legal concept that has something to do with like how a bill isn't proof of anything and doesn't actually mean anything. So because I could just send you, Hank. I don't, we never had any financial interactions, but I could send you a bill that just says you owe me $5 million, and if you don't respond to that, that is like a tacit acknowledgement that yes, you owe me $5 million. But instead, if you were to send me back a stamped the same stamped bill saying that you accept this at face value, which the face value of a piece of paper is nothing. So it's accepted at face value, and you send it back to him. It's like accepted at face value. Then you have to take that, and you're like, "Damn, I thought he'd fall for it, and now all I had is a piece of paper that's worthless." And that's the idea. Like supposedly you could do it with your electric bill, your car payment. There's nothing you could get a bill in the mail for that you couldn't write accepted for face value on, send it in, and that it would cover your entire account.
Yeah, I mean, if I got that, I'll probably drag it. If I got that, I'll just okay, let's drag his ass into court. This is slam dunk.
Yeah, people did go to court for this. They went to jail, of course, just like the sovereign citizens did. Because a lot of it was based in maritime law, just like the sovereign citizen thing. There's all this maritime law shit that doesn't really apply if you're not on the sea, obviously. But they're like, but if you're in a courtroom that has a naval flag in it, then it means you're technically on the water. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, they're very low cognitive complexity.
I mean, it's actually extremely complicated. Their theories and everything. It's just not based in anything real.
That's how I feel about all the conspiracy theories that I've been
some conspiracies are based on something real, on something. Some of them are. There's a lot. Most of them are not.
And Gulf of Tonkin.
Where are you drawing your line? Because when I look at them, no, they're not based on anything.
Tuskegee and the Gulf of Tonkin were confirmed.
Yeah,
there's a list of confirmed
conspiracies. Exactly that.
Say that again.
Tuskegee, for example.
Yeah. They injected poor black people with viruses because science.
That was but that's not the kind of conspiracies that I'm hearing.
Like, yeah, well, the
Illuminati type of this secret cabal of like sociopaths that are secretly running the world. And
right, no, that's not.
Well, that's not a secret.
We're saying that some conspiracies are based in something, and that turns out to be true. We're saying some, not a majority, not even a slight majority. I'm talking about like a very small minority of them are based in fact. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's not a secret. You remember our last president? He's in court a lot now.
Are you talking about Donald Trump?
Yes.
What about him?
Well, sociopath in charge.
I said a secret cabal of sociopaths, not one lone narcissist.
Yeah. I'm sure
the conspiracy was that the Russia helped. There was a cabal of sociopaths that helped to put him in power, and we're keeping him in power. That was Russiagate.
Yeah,
transnational organized crime was behind everything, and we're about to take over all of our institutions and run the world.
No, Russia was just doing Facebook ads for everyone to cause chaos, so they didn't really help Trump at all.
But I'm just telling you what the conspiracy was.
Yeah, so we confirmed a conspiracy, but it wasn't the one that was promoted. Russia was buying Facebook ads, but it was for everyone to cause chaos. That's actually confirmed.
Yeah, and they had that troll forum that they busted.
Yeah, exactly.
which they weren't doing anything illegal in the United States because they weren't in the United States, so they couldn't really do anything to them.
Correct. And their money was green, so Facebook took it.
Oh, yeah, you can come on and talk, I guess. Why not? There's nothing else going on. My issue with conspiracy theories, I've said it before, is Occam's razor and the scientific method. I think it's a shoddy execution of the scientific method. It's based on scientific method should be based on as complete an observation as possible, a complete and relevant observation. It's based on incomplete observation. They cherry set, or it's a very limited data set that's cherry picked, and it's some of the points are not even relevant. So they pull in all these irrelevant points and tie them into the relevant points. They do then the hypothesis part they're pretty okay at. They're very imaginative. I got to give them that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Occam's razor comes into play. They magnify far beyond what the evidence requires as an explanatory principle. And then there's no experimentation or conclusion after that. They don't follow any of the hypotheses. They don't examine them and reality test them. Seasburgers. Oh.
Yeah, I don't have good elimination criteria.
Yeah. So it's like a partial, it's like a fumbling towards a scientific approach to it, but it doesn't reach it by any stretch. So my criticism is just it's like poor logic, poor reasoning.
I agree.
And just paranoia.
And some paranoia.
And magical thinking. A lot of it's magical thinking.
I'm okay with magical thinking.
I'm not saying the science. I'm saying every one of us is capable of using the scientific method ourselves because that's one of the most effective means of knowledge production that we have. And when you use it on a lot of these conspiracy theories, they don't hold up. It filters them out. And then you can also do the Popperian test of falsifying your theories.
So yeah,
so I'm not relying on expert scientists to debunk. I can debunk myself just using observation of my own, trying to make my observations as complete and comprehensive as possible, and include all relevant data, and not include irrelevant data. And of course, there's a judgment in that, and then formulating a sensible hypothesis based on that data set. So part of the conspiracy theory is the data set they're working with to begin with. It's distorted, and then the hypothesis they draw from it. But if they had a better data set, they could draw better hypotheses, and then you can test those hypotheses through research. You can't really experiment, but you could research.
Well, you could. There's some of them. Some of them you can experiment.
Joshua, this is why I think it's psychological.
Yeah, like the jab. You can, and it was done experiments on. They did control studies on that. So,
but the conspiracy is that the jab was this like sinister plot of globalists that came up. Like it wasn't just a reasonable response to a global pandemic. There was a sinister motive behind it.
Yeah, and they said something about a magic chip. Well, I can't find one. I got my own. I got my jab. I can't find a chip.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the bioelectric. Yeah, there was a someone on Machines last night that was talking about telepathy is real and the soul. Talking about the soul, and then brought it down to the level of bioelectrical impulses in your body. And Joshua kind of went back and forth with them. Yeah, that's exactly what I said like 15 to 20 minutes ago, that it's people with low cognitive, like low ability to handle complexity, limited cognitive capacity.
Yes,
confronting complexity.
Yes, Sarah said they're using telepathy. When we have telephony, like we're doing now, we don't need much telepathy because telephony works very consistently across a very long distance.
I wonder if that's a female thing, because everything's so nonverbal, and there's like this female expectation that you're going to tune into to their needs and emotions and know how to respond to them at any given time. They're not going to just articulate or communicate directly.
Yeah, I think it is a female thing.
Like reading with emotion or intuition.
Yeah, but I'm starting to think that you don't have to read them. You can just write to them, which is why they allow them to just go to the same bad people over and over again. So you don't even have to take time to read. If you just write everywhere, you can just write whatever they had in their mind, anyways. And that's why I think both manosphere and feminism somehow converges to patriarchy. So
They definitely do.
Joshua, Don, I watched like 5 minutes of it when they started talking about the Federal Reserve, and it already sounded a little suspicious to me. So I started researching the Federal Reserve, and most of the research turned up countered what they were saying, or explained it in greater detail and depth that made more sense than what they were presenting. But I'm seriously only talking about like the first 5 or 10 minutes. I didn't get further than that.
if they got the basics wrong, why doesn't it even matter if they got the specifics right?
Oh wait, that's not. Oh yeah, I guess this is the one I wanted to show. Yeah, but I don't think like that's the mistake the woke made. Is that everything? There's one factor that determines everything in its power. Like yes, I believe that power can corrupt in certain area, but it's the axiomatic assumption that all power is going to have like this mathematical calculable effect in the same way on every individual human being because of this human nature that's identical from individual to individual.
And let's assume it did.
I'm not naive about power and its influence.
Yeah.
I'm arguing for a more individualized approach to power instead of a reductive, dogmatic approach.
Yeah, but let's assume reductive dogmatic approach to power. If that was true, then why not just take the power so we don't have to worry about other people having the power us? So it doesn't really help at all. It says, well, someone's gonna have the power anyways, so why not me?
I mean, that's where we get oppressed oppressor and the othering of you either have power or you don't have power. And if you don't have power, the one with the power becomes other. And I think power dynamics are much more fluid than that and contextual and relational. Y'all can come on, by the way. Either one. I'm sending a telepathic text to you using my bioelectric soul. Oh, Lord, that would scare me if I got some impulse from Joshua Jones in the middle of the night.
It wouldn't scare me, though. Let's say I get those.
And yeah, corrupt. But, okay, here's the thing, Canuck. Yes, you're right. But the corruption of institutions is corruption of individuals. Institutions are the people that make up and operate the institutions. We're not talking about the wall and the paper and the floor or whatever becoming corrupt. We're talking about the people that make up the institutions becoming corrupt. So the corruption's still happening within individuals. And that's the same thing with systemic racism. Systems are not racist. The individual people that participate in those systems, some proportion of them may be individually racist. But that doesn't scale up to the entire system being this impersonal system of racism.
Yeah, we just take a temperature of the set of people in the system, and that comes up as racist. But the individual people had to be racist for that to happen.
Do you know how the Vietnam War started? I should. I was born during Vietnam. Something about communism, like didn't they split and like one part of Vietnam wanted to become communist and the other part didn't?
Yes, that's pretty much all of those proxy wars happened like that. So Vietnam War, Korean War, Cuba, it just worked just like that.
We're fighting to help. It's like the global fight against communism.
Yeah, it's a old war on terror, but it's a red scare, not just a random scare.
Let's see, was an international confrontation that led to the United States becoming more engaged. August 64, we were carrying out covert operations close to and North Vietnamese forces responded. And then the government falsely claimed that a second incident occurred on August 4th, 2 days later, between North Vietnamese and the United States. The original U.S. military claims blamed North Vietnam, but in fact, for the ostensible, but in fact, imaginary incident on August 4th, and it's from Wikipedia, by the way. Later investigation revealed that the second attack never happened. The official American claim is that it is based mostly on erroneously interpreted communication intercepts. The NSA deliberately skewed intelligence to create the impression that an attack had been carried out. Was there, like, do they know this for sure? There was a trial and they admitted that they lied? Because people say the same thing about the weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, we were talking about Tuskegee just a moment ago. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading over some of this old A4V stuff, man. This kind of stuff is crazy. I don't understand where these people got this stuff. And a lot of some of them are selling something. They're selling some sort of classes or something. But some of these sites don't even sell anything. They just have all this bizarre pseudo legal, like, the legal version of pseudoscience kind of like stuff on it. And it's just like, where do you come up with this stuff? And it's all buried in legal jargon, so you really have to read it carefully to even understand it. And like, it clearly doesn't work. If this kind of shit worked, everyone would do it, but it doesn't, and that's why no one does it. So
I know, but how many? What is the ratio of stupid people to?
The ratio of stupid people, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's definitely higher.
Like, look at all the televangelists and.
Sure,
it's a thing, Chris.
Even like spam and stuff. Why is spam still around? Like, who falls for spam?
Well, yeah. my point is, like, spam and stuff is really aimed at lowest common denominator and stuff like that. They're like, just reading through this stuff, it's not easy. It's like reading a textbook. It's like there are actual legal theories in it. It's not completely stupid, but it's based on stupidity. So it's very confusing, because if you're someone who doesn't know a lot about legal stuff or something like that, and you read this, and I don't know a lot about it, but I know enough to know this is bullshit. But you read something and you would think that, well, these people clearly know what they're talking about. Like, they're using, like, the way it's all structured language wise and everything. It's not structured stupid. It sounds very
there's sophistry.
Yeah,
it's structured stupid if you know anything about law. And
if you read their actual like their legal theories and proposals and stuff, it doesn't sound any worse than any other actual realistic legal theory.
Because they know how to employ the rhetoric of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, color of law.
My point is that they're often not selling anything, so I'm like, why would they do it? I don't understand the motivation.
It's a funnel.
Fan fiction, I guess.
They don't sell anything yet.
Well, now you know how I feel about all these conspiracy theories out there. The way you feel about this, when everyone talks about conspiracy theories, that is the state that I'm in internally.
And another thing,
they're plausible. They're rhetorical. They're plausible rhetorical fictions.
Yeah, and just because something works doesn't mean everyone will hop onto it. I mean, you can get Fedora Linux for free off the internet. People would still buy Windows.
But I can't run Fortnite on it, Hank. I don't.
Have you tried it? Let's check the line.
I don't play Fortnite. My joke is just that you can't play most Windows software.
That's what keeps me off.
That's false.
That's not.
Let's check the wine DB.
Dude, I'm running Ubuntu right now downstairs on my downstairs computer. There's tons of stuff I can't run on it. I love Ubuntu, but it's not a replacement for Windows. It's a different thing.
Well, I'm not running Windows, and I can do a lot of stuff just fine.
Yeah, I agree. I can do a lot of stuff that's fine. I'm just saying, but there's certain
but your Zoom crashes
that I want to use, and I can't use them with Linux because Wine is good and it's gotten a lot better, but it's still not good enough to run like say actual Photoshop or Premiere properly without tons of problems and crashes. Now, it's not made to do that, and I'm not faulting Linux for that. I'm just saying that I still end up having to run Windows. The same way, like, if I really needed Final Cut Pro for some reason, I'd have to get a Mac because there's no version of it that you're going to get that's going to run quite as well. Because there's Mac emulators. I could run a virtual machine on my beefy desktop and run Mac OS X inside of it. It's not going to run right. I've tried this. I've built Hackintoshes before. I've done lots of stuff like that and had some good times with them, but they never work as well if you run on the original hardware. Which is, it'll get there. Eventually there will be no fences between these operating systems. There will be anything will be able to run anything through virtual machines and stuff like that. We just haven't quite gotten there. We probably will be in the next 5 years. So, but I do like Fedora. I ran Fedora for a couple of years. I ultimately went back to Ubuntu just because it was a little easier for running the media server I was running off of it. But Fedora's a very good OS. I've used Mint before too.
Yeah, you're running Fortnite. It does run like crap according to WineDB.
What does?
Fortnite does run like crap in Wine.
Oh, does it?
You're
I've
right.
never tried. I hate Fortnite. I would never play it. I was just a joke.
Well, that's why we check stuff. Conspiracy theorists, we check stuff.
That does surprise me that there isn't a really good running version of it, considering you can run Steam OS, which is just a Linux distribution. It supposedly can play everything you can play in Steam, but maybe not everything. I actually got SteamOS running on a small laptop netbook type thing a long time ago when it was still in an early version. It wasn't there yet, but I bet the current version they're using with the Steam Decks is pretty damn good.
Speaking of Steam, I have a very important question. Sure. Do any of you know how to use Tabletop Simulator?
What we talked about this the other day. I've never used it before.
I never used it, but I know a guy who has used it.
It seemed like a pain in the ass. I would need like a live tutorial on it. I've been watching videos and reading instructions, and it's painstaking.
Hey, how about this, man? Let's do a stream, and the whole stream we'll just put that up on the stream. We'll see if we can figure out Tabletop Simulator together.
I'm sure our view count will skyrocket.
Yeah, I'm saying that it sounds like fun. I mean, I think streams like that are fun.
Incredibly
people trying to figure something out. I think that's great. Let's do that on. Let's do that.
Can you have negative viewers?
I bet you people will show up for that. I bet you they will. People show up for shit like that, like weird stuff, niche stuff. Man, that stuff works well.
Well, we could try right now. Part of the problem is figuring out how to. Because when I open up Steam, it takes up my whole screen. Like I lose access to any of my other applications. So I have two monitors. I can put one on the other monitor, but then it's sharing what's on the second monitor to StreamYard.
There may be a StreamYard setting that will prevent that from happening. So camera.
I mean, I'm willing to play around with it. And the other problem is my monitor is above me, so I'm going to be looking up the whole time, which looks goofy.
I guess you can get yet another monitor. Wait, that wouldn't help with the.
I ain't getting 3 monitors.
That's not going to help with the screen.
Dude, I used to run 4. It's not really that bad as long as you got the proper setup for it.
I'm not interested in doing anything that takes 4 monitors. I barely do 2. I mostly only do 2 when I'm gaming. All right, why won't you?
It's not as bad as it sounds.
I just know my brain.
Yeah, you probably don't need more than 2. There's probably some setting in StreamYard to stop it.
I can't even get it onto the second monitor. Why?
Have you tried clicking on say and selecting?
I've had that problem
move to other monitor.
Usually I just drag it. No, I don't
Yeah,
see
full
that.
screen apps don't like to drag because they don't have the window thing. So you can force it into window full
Oh,
screen.
never mind. I picked the wrong setting. I got it. I know what to do.
Copy.
Oh no. No, I did do it right. It's just not working. Why? See, anyway, this is what I'm saying. This is not going to be interesting. For watching people try to figure out technology is not does not make for an exciting stream.
Well, if it puts Cecil Drake to sleep, he'll probably watch it so he can sleep faster.
Waiting
can
so
be.
you're back with the
Here's the thing: Linux is not a Windows alternative. It's the better it's a more modern version of Unix. Sure, you could use instead of Windows, but it's not trying to be an alternative to Windows.
That's what I was saying before. Linux isn't meant to replace Windows. It's meant to be a different thing. And it's good if you want to use it as a different thing, but it's not so much if you're trying to use it as a replacement for Windows.
All right, I'm going to try to pull up tabletop and see if I can share it. Fuck. Y'all can keep talking. Don't.
And here. Well, I was looking up things. Here's another page about some crazy people. I didn't like cover what? Why didn't you cover the whole? I'm trying to listen to the web page and it just keeps fucking with me.
I've seen you put Redemption Movement, but you've lost probably Euro looks like.
Yeah,
there it is.
The link. There it is. There's the link. Yeah, this is the source of the Day for V stuff, and if you read through it, it'll just like melt your brain with like the kinds of like it is literally so steeped in magical / I don't know if you call it anything beyond magical thinking. But there's another word for it, but it's just so fantastical. It imagines that every line, every aspect of the U.S. Constitution and every U.S. government legal document has secret esoteric meaning to it, no matter how mundane. The word "and" in this particular space.
Well, Daniel learned a key word called nullification that stops us in its tracks. So
nullification.
Yeah, because
who learned this word? What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm teaching right now. So Daniel learned nullification because if some esoteric meaning gets you once, but it's not in line with the intent of the writers or the implementers, then they'll just nullify that text that's written and interpret it the way they need to get to match their interpretation. So that esoteric means it's not going to trap judges or juries.
I don't know if y'all can hear me. I'm getting a low signal.
Notice. I can hear you.
I can hear you fine. Coming through loud and clear, boss. I don't know what happened to my browser here, but I have way too many icons, and I don't know why.
Yeah, so the C also has check fraud, debt evasion, civil law, tax protester, capital letters argument, paper terrorism, patriot movement, freedom on the land movement, right wing terrorism, sovereign citizen movement. Oh, my favorite, Swiss Indo, terrorism in the United States, and domestic terrorism in the United States, all in the C also part section of the Wikipedia document.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Swissendo.
I don't think any of these people actually ever committed any terrorism, though they're considered domestic terrorists because I guess all of the sovereign citizen types are unhinged to that degree. I can see why they're considered threatening, but
they scream in the
depth. They a little more seriously.
They run into local government meetings and scream during meetings. They don't have the meetings.
Yeah. Or they get pulled over by a cop and be like, "You can't pull me over. I'm a sovereign citizen." And they end up being shot and all this shit. Nobody cares about that, but they probably deserved it, so.
Shut up, slave! Shut up, citizen!
Well, it's like I was saying this to my parents earlier when it comes to like with Israel Palestine. People keep trying to blame Israel for being, disproportionate response, and all I can think is like, okay, so I go into the forest around wherever I live, and I find this big ass hornet's nest, and I decide to go out and start just punching the shit out of it, just punching the shit out of this hornet's nest, and those hornets all swarm, sting, and kill me. Is that the hornets' fault? I mean, I didn't kill them. I just beat up on their nest. I mean, I didn't commit murder here. And if I did, I wasn't trying to kill them. But whenever they all swarmed and stung me to death, did they commit some sort of out of proportionate response? I mean, that's maybe a simple analogy, a simplistic analogy, but I think it's valid. I mean, that's what's happening. Hamas punched this hornet's nest, and now they're getting stung to death, and people are like, well, that's not fair. They didn't do anything to deserve to be wiped out. Well, yeah, they did. They punched the hornet's nest over and over again, and that's what happens. It's basically a law of nature.
Oh, the masochist.
Yeah. And I just say Israel should just finish this fight as soon as possible. We already know that they're the only one that can win.
About it.
They're the only one that can win. So they just hurry up and end it.
Well, it's going to escalate.
Yeah, of course, because that keeps the defense contractors making bank. So of course it's going to escalate because that's the popular direction for it. Do I want it to escalate? No.
You guys know the duck.
I mean, the protests and stuff are just getting started, and I don't see any move to curb them at all. Just like I didn't see any during the George Floyd riots.
Because what they're doing is important. It's really important for them that they're marching, because that always solves everything. So I think they have the right to protest. They have the right to march. But seriously, has marching solved anything since the 60s?
Well, didn't get us civil rights and gay rights?
I just said since the 60s.
Gay rights was in the 90s.
That was done mostly through the courts. That was fought on much different grounds.
But the support for it was done through the organizing.
I could be wrong about this, and I'm willing to be wrong about this, but my gut feeling tells me that if all the pride parades and marching had simply stopped at some point in the 80s, that the gay marriage thing would have gone forward the same. I do not think it made much difference at that point. We had television at that point. We had the internet. I don't think the marches really are effective. I think
I think the marches worked. I think
I know that for the community itself, it helped.
It might have been good for the community. It might have created solidarity and stuff like that. I'm saying from the legal standpoint, from what their goal was, what they were trying to get accomplished.
And I think it had a positive effect on the communities that the parades happened in, but they weren't protests. They weren't like what we're seeing right now.
So marching, what marching does is
how
get
convenient
people
for you,
to do something to get practice organizing. So marching's really not the show. It's just I guess as a run to say, here's how much power we got.
But it's not even a good indicator of that. It doesn't really indicate.
I would not call what we're seeing in videos marching.
Okay, regardless, marching, BLM, rioting, sit-ins, these kind of things, they all sound good on paper, and they sound less. But it's more about virtue.
Like what we saw in that video at Tulane, that was not marching. That wasn't even protesting. That's the type of stuff. And the George Floyd riots, where they busted businesses and threw Molotov cocktails and stuff. I don't consider that marching, protesting, rally. I don't consider it any of that. I consider it criminal.
I do too. But I still don't think the marching.
And so
is
that's the
effective.
type of stuff that I'm saying that is likely to escalate, that nobody's currently stepping in to curb. I mean, they're telling the Jews in New York to stay in their house.
Yeah. Because people that are out there marching and protesting, they're not really out there marching and peacefully protesting. They're out there looking to cause violence.
Right, and there's
Well,
supposed to be
the
consequences to that
violence is,
in an ordered, civilized society.
What's
well,
that?
we know
I
violence
didn't hear everything you
works.
said.
We know for certain violence works. If we want power, violence works if we have enough of it.
It works because people let it work.
Yeah.
And then these are the same people that could complain about January 6th. But it's fine for them to go out in the streets and tear things up.
But why complain about January 6th because of how sloppy it was done? I don't complain about January 6th because of violence. I complain about because it was sloppy.
There's a DuckDuckGo browser now.
Oh no!
Yeah, I knew about it. I don't care.
I wonder how reliable it is.
I was just trying it out for a couple things, just checking it out, and it seems pretty solid so far. It kind of reminds me of what Chrome was like way back in the day.
Yeah, I'm using Chromium, so it is like Chrome was way back in the day.
Chromium still has a ton of updates. That's the only thing. That's the thing I think I dislike the most about Linux is the number of fucking updates. I cannot sit down to use my computer Linux at any time. If I use it in the morning and I go back 2 hours later in the afternoon, it'll be another update. Another hour after that, another update. There's always updates, and I try to set it to do them automatically, but they still wants me to put in my password, and I don't know. I don't know what the deal with that is. That might be an Ubuntu thing, though.
It is an Ubuntu thing.
Well, okay then. I never had that problem with Mint or with I don't know. And I've used just about every Linux distribution on the planet except for some of the really weird, more Unix-like ones that are more command line based. Because command line stuff, I understand it's powerful and blah blah blah, but I could give a fuck.
I'm on board with that. I couldn't give a fuck. But yeah, it's a Ubuntu thing.
I just know there's those Linux tryhards out there that are all like, well, you just gotta know how to use the command line, and then you could really get the most out of it. I'm just like, dude, if the commands in the command line system are so great, then just make them into macros that you could run with an icon. There's no reason they have to be command line. You know, like.
Well, there's a couple command. There's a few commands that do have to be command line because pretty much you have so many goddamn freaking spots in the menu. It's annoying. So, but that's few and far between.
It might be annoying to somebody. It wouldn't be annoying to me. I would much prefer to have a GUI at this point. I'm just old and I don't give a fuck.
And I'm a mouser. I have to have something that works with a mouse.
Me too. But there's tons and tons of Linux people out there that will be like, well, if you're not using a command line, then you're not really using them. And that's those kind of people are half the reason.
I mean, that wouldn't bother me. I'm not one of those people.
I know, I'm saying, but that's half the reason I stopped using Linux as my main operating system was these Linux snobs. They're worse than Apple snobs by far.
I
disagree. I think
Apple snobs are just stupid. Linux snobs are educated stupid. Educated stupid trumps just regular stupid to me any day of the week.
Yeah, Zolly's annoyed with the Linux people too. I understand, but they don't really bother me. I use Emacs as my terminal with the vterm extension, so because I could scroll back, I have an easier time scrolling back and forth and copying and pasting.
Besides, if you really want to use Linux or whatever, there's a Chromium extension, a Chrome extension you could use. It's just called Ubuntu Free Online Linux Server, and you can I can't remember how many gigs it gives you, but it's a really fast little setup server on something. It's like a virtual machine, and it's free, and you can just log into it with your Chrome thing and use most Linux features through Chrome. That was pretty funny. You can do it. Yeah, look at that. You can do it with Ubuntu, Kubuntu, Lubuntu, and Xubuntu.
Yeah, I don't want to use any of those. So
Ubuntu's not that bad. I think Ubuntu's pretty decent myself. But Kubuntu, if you prefer KDE, Kubuntu's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I've never used Lu or Zoo, but
I use both of those. I'm just fed up with Canonical how they're managing their distribution. So I don't want to use them if I don't have to.
That. But their software works is the point.
Well, they don't really have any of their own software right now.
Well,
they have to discontinue Unity. Their version of Unity. The real version of Unity is also getting on flames right now. But Ubuntu's version of Unity, they had discontinued that. Snaps ain't going nowhere, really. Did they make anything else? No, they didn't. They're just reusing Debian's stuff.
Yeah, well, all Linux distributions are like that, man. Even your precious Fedora isn't like it's not like it's built from the core up with its own kernel or some shit.
Actually, it is because it's
Red Hat IBM uses the base Linux kernel.
Yes, which IBM's paying for a lot of the development for, both IBM and Red Hat. So how much of the ground does that have to be for the ground up? How much of the ground?
I'm not saying that I think it needs to be. I'm saying I don't think it needs to be built from the ground up. I think it's fine that it's built. That things get built. I think that's the way creativity should work. We should all build on each other. This whole obsession with, well, you didn't build it. You didn't build the code from the ground up. Like, fuck that shit, man. That's bullshit. That's just anti-progress is all it is.
Okay, now you're reversing your argument. Well,
what?
They contribute upstream.
How?
Oh, you said they didn't build for the Fedora. People didn't build from the ground up. Now you said, well, now you don't need to build from the ground. You reversed your argument.
No, I didn't reverse my. I think you misunderstood me. I'm just saying that I don't think it's necessary to build from the ground up. That's all.
Okay, well, sure.
I like when I do
doesn't contribute
like
upstream, which is very
I firmly believe in sampling and taking influences and building off of other people's work and creating new things out of it. I don't. Now, if they were just to take Debian's code and just re-release exactly what Debian was without any changes or improvements or anything, then yeah, that's stealing. But if you take it and you modify it and you turn it to your own thing, I think that's perfectly legal. It's even there in like the fair use thing.
Oh, first of all, it's not stealing because the copy left. So they could do that. But a lot of times they don't really improve on Debian. They add clutter and crap to it. So,
I've used Debian, and Debian is one of the hardest used Linux OS I've ever tried. So I don't know about that.
Well, they got easier.
I haven't tried it in, granted, 6-7 years. But the last time I tried it, I was like, I had it installed for all of 2 hours before I was like, fuck this shit.
I think last time Debian was like 3 years ago, maybe. It got easier.
Well, okay.
I'd rather use Debian than Ubuntu.
Fair enough. We'll stop talking about this. I think we're boring Jeff to tears here. What are you looking at?
I'm just not a techie. I'm on Twitter.
Okay. You find anything interesting?
More riot scenes. That's what's been showing up on my feed lately.
Adaptable said, Chad Apple Vision.
Which I guess that's what they want. Like they take to the streets and they hope that it makes it onto social media so more people see their message.
So we've got Joe from IDW here in the chat. We've got Joshua and we've got John. Like, why aren't any of you guys coming here and joining?
We have Adaptable.
Adaptable never comes on though. I don't think he has a camera or a microphone or something like that. That's what he said. So I'm not.
Joshua's about to take his kid to school.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not pinned. It's not pinned to the top, but they could scroll up. I think so.
Hank probably uses Pop OS. I don't know that one.
That's an OS. I'm using Fedora, but I need to upgrade my Fedora.
I mean, if you're real hardcore, you'd be using Red Hat, right? I hate people that say
No,
they
if I
use
was real
Red Hat.
hardcore, I'd be using Arch.
I don't think Arches that had Red Hat was way more complicated to me. But that, once again, going back 10 years, so I have not
I
kept
thought we
up
were
Linux.
changing topics.
Yeah, we should be. We should be. It's my fault.
Tech talk.
Just internet
I mean,
slap me.
I don't care. Y'all can talk. I just have nothing to contribute to it.
I don't
It's
really
like
have much
people
to say.
talking football scores.
Yeah, I feel you there. I've been there before too. But like and all of my information is very old too, so it's barely even relevant because I haven't actually dealt with anything besides Ubuntu in like 10 years, so 7 at least. So yeah, I can stop.
Oh, well, you're not ghosting. The phone calls definitely like real life definitely takes precedence over streaming, I hope.
Definitely, man. Yeah, it's not ghosting anything. You're welcome to take you're not even on the stream, man. Even if you were, you could just like you hit mute, turn your camera off, and go take your phone call. It's not a big deal.
An autonomous, self-determining experience.
It's like a hangout. It's like a chat on the porch kind of thing. If you got to take a phone call, go do it.
Oh, I forgot he's Canadian. He's being polite.
We have to like torture that out of him or something. I wonder what happens if you torture a Canadian enough they eventually.
I mean, that's at this point, that's just how he is. Just appreciate.
I know. I'm joking.
Appreciate his uniqueness and difference.
I'm not going to torture anything out of anybody. I was just joking. I don't actually want to ever.
I guess it's nice to have an occasional polite person here and there. We have been highly domesticated here in Canada. I would even say feminized. Is that the same thing as domesticated? I'm still feral, thank God.
Yes.
Partly feral. I'm trying to domesticate, but at this age, I'm probably about as domesticated as I'm going to get. We're the lapdogs of the British Crown.
Not potty trained.
At least you have a king now.
Yeah, I was about to say the British Crown was female too for most. Well, all of my lifetime, I think. When did she take power? Is it called power? Did she have power?
I don't think she had power. And to be fair, she probably had bigger balls than most of us. So
1952. Oh, way before my lifetime. My mom was a kid. Psychologically neutered and severed from genuine masculinity. I don't. I wouldn't call you psychologically neutered, or I think you're. I don't notice any issues with your masculinity, and you're direct, and you speak up when you have something to say. Oh, the British royals have power. Oh, they're part of the what is it? Conspirnati. What did Joshua call?
When rents due, they get the bill. They get paid off to the tax store.
See what? Okay, observation, hypothesis, experiment, conclusion. What is your evidence for this hypothesis? What are you observing that you're building this hypothesis off of? This is
they live in multiple castles. Then they never really do any work.
It's also subtle and invisible, like the quiet kind of power that hides. What is that power? How do you quantify it enough to demonstrate it to anybody?
Now you follow the money.
It's like a whisper campaign.
So if someone's the opposite of psychologically neutered, does that mean they have giant psychological dick and balls? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
A huge psychological dick. Nice.
Oh, I guess we have here. That was quick.
But if you're a woman, then does that mean you have a huge psychological pussy? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Oh, there's a lot of people like that on the internet. A lot of people with gigantic vaginas, like gigantic. Where like you could park your car, kind of gigantic.
Daniel Tosh had a joke in his first major stand-up where he talked about how he just wanted to get a vagina installed into his underarm, just so he could like go to bars and just freak people out and be like, "Go ahead, touch it."
Well, now you can have them installed. Apparently,
now that's happening. Now that was a joke, an absurd joke 15 years ago, but now it's like, well, that's something that we can do. Oh my god.
That's right. They told you about that stuff. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
I didn't wish for it.
And by
well, of course
it,
you didn't. You're a little biased, Jeff. We can't really take your opinion seriously here, right? Yeah, sorry. It's just we just can't. We can't.
Oh, well, did you wished for it?
No, I actually wished for deaf and mute women with a bad case of cerebral palsy. It's like the perfect women. I just can't seem to get those. Apparently, we got the brain dead ones
like
instead.
In Santa Sangre.
Yeah. So, Jeff, how'd you like the Seaspurg machine over there?
I'm not loving the Seaspurg. I got to be honest. I'm trying to minimize it, my exposure to it as much as I can.
Yeah,
I can do easily when I'm on other people's streams, but here, I without being too heavy-handed with the control.
I'm the same. I'm kind of the same.
I'm
can
trying to nudge it here and there.
I can usually take about like a dozen conspiracies at one given time. I think that's somewhere around my cutoff limit, and then I got to take off for the day. Like that's just as much as I can take. Because stupid me will try to comprehend it. I don't know why, but like I'll be like, "What? What is this thing?" I'll just keep asking questions and trying to understand like what's being said. Kind of like the soul thing, right? I understood the concept. She used the word soul, something. Oh, well, we're using like the Christian definition of it. Nope, she's got her own thing in there.
Which hers actually made more sense, but I just wouldn't call it a soul. Yeah, we're talking about the Greek word for psyche and body and all that.
Yeah, I just call it body. It's the same thing.
But
I learned how to listen and believe.
The telepathy didn't tip you off?
Oh no, the telepathy threw me in there. Like well, I mean, come on, to be fair, right? Like her starting point was the Catholic
or the angels, church, like talking to angels.
Yeah, the Catholic Church and the Illuminati. That was the starting point. Everything after that, I knew was going to be some weird shit. But it took me a minute because you kind of have to stack a lot of bullshit on it, right? So like if you're gonna make a claim, and I mean a wild accusation, right, that you can't really demonstrate, you have to add a bunch of stuff on top of it, right? It's just how that works. And stupid me will actually take the talking points, each one of them, and try to comprehend it. But unfortunately, I just can't keep up. And once you get to like, I say like 6 or 7 claims on top of each other, I can't. I don't know. My multitasking kind of sucks.
Yeah, I could keep it like a champ. That's why I just said I picked one. I attacked telepathy, and she.
I wasn't exactly going to pick on her specifically, but the talking or the topic of the conversation was specifically kind of about religions. In this case, Christianity. She was the only one that spit out some type of conspiracy that was specific to like Christianity. So all the other guys I had to kind of let go just to go with her to stay on topic. Otherwise, I'd have picked on when Machine was asking, I would have picked somebody else's conspiracy.
No, Canuck, but I just looked him up. Temple of Set, which I don't fuck with. I'm not a Setian at all. Now that you mention it, I think I have heard his name.
Yeah, Temple of Set, from my memory, gotten some real dark shit, but I don't know.
Yeah,
those are the theistics.
Yeah, but you never mess with my conspiracy, Josh, because I have the best conspiracies. I make the best shit up.
Yeah, that's the problem right there. Just in that instant claim, I make the best shit up. That's the starting point of a problem.
Actually, I'll
Exactly,
challenge you on that. I think
yes,
I make the best
yes.
shit up. That's because I was a professional writer, so I do.
Okay,
actually
well, I mean, yeah, if you're writing fantasy books, right? Like, okay, makes sense. But I mean, what? No, hold up, wait. Even Star Wars had like some uh futuristic designs that were actually coming from like space agencies. Like even they were borrowing shit that they were trying to do. Of course, they
most
were
of
a
it was
couple.
from samurai shit, but yeah, some of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't mind people exercising the imaginations. I just like be aware of what you're doing when you're doing it. Don't pretend you're engaging in sense making. Although I think they're trying to.
I mean, the thing is,
I'm
there
just a
are a lot
I'm
of things
just
in the
more
world
I'm a
that they don't make
rigorous
sense.
epistemologist. I just
I
have
get
high
that. I'm saying,
standards for what constitutes knowledge.
well, my issue is the concept. I consider it a lacking of basic education. So like we all obviously we start off in high school, we get like basic biology, basic, well, we might get basic physics in the West, but that's usually highly unlikely. But I mean, you just get the basics, right? You
But
might
it's
get
not
in.
because I don't think any of these people lack basic education. It's how to think.
I absolutely think they lack it. Example, Big Bang Theory, big conspiracy talks about an explosion. Yet, if anybody ever read the paper, it never mentions anything about what caused, what might have been. It doesn't even start until Planck time, which is like somewhere between 180,000 years and 300,000 years. Nobody's read the fucking thing, but everybody's got a fucking opinion about what it is. Oh no, Christianity can't be because this thing. That's the Big Bang Theory didn't even come about. Like that, the title, that name didn't even come about by I think it was like 1958 by Hoyle. That's not even the original name. That's how I know nobody read the fucking thing. And technically, it's not even one; it's three. But like, that's the idea. People aren't actually talking about like the science. They're hearing buzzwords and then they're talking about it like they think they know something. When I say basic education, I mean simple, just basic bullshit. Well, hell, in this case, we'll just start with literacy. Actually fucking reading a piece of paper. It's not even that hard. They're broadcasted all over the internet. Anything you want to find, you can find it.
People
Nope,
don't
we're not
read
going to do
anymore.
that. If it's not on YouTube and I can't watch it in 3 minutes, fuck off. I don't want to. I don't want to learn nothing. It's like, what the hell?
I'll look deeper in that.
Deeper into what? It's a mathematical. Well, if you're talking about the one by Lemaitre, who was originally the father of it, it's really a mathematical formula, which was inaccurate, by the way. Of course, it's inaccurate. That was the most accurate tool they had at the time was a formula for measuring distance. Well,
yeah, I'll go as far as opening a PDF or EPUB.
But I mean, that's kind of the point. Here, take this whole thing about the electric impulses, right? So, like, yes, all biological, or as far as I'm aware, all biological species have some type of electrical, like even the thing with the plants, right? It's not like they constantly have one, like say with a heartbeat or a brain impulse, that kind of thing. They don't have something like that. But when you snap a branch, pull a leaf or something, you get an electrical impulse. It just seems to be how it communicates.
That's because all molecules and atoms have electrical impulses, and all organisms are composed of molecules and atoms.
Yeah. So my starting point here is one, the person starting with some type of animosity. I hate a thing. And then one day I'm going to read some type of piece of paper that says, "Oh, look, your body has these electrical impulses that operate on this specific frequency." I did go read that what is it, the Rife frequency list. I actually did go back to read that thing because I'd never heard of it before. Somebody go look at it, just fits the narrative. And so that's what they're doing. They're starting with an animosity point, whatever that thing is that they hate, right? And then they're just tossing whatever random shit they can find on top of it. That's it. There's no education, there's no research, there's just I want to talk shit. Okay.
Yeah, but let's be fair. Public schools pretty much I want to talk shit most of the time too.
They didn't even pay attention to that. And I refuse to believe that basic biology is not taught in public science class.
Yeah, it is. It is taught basic in science class, yes.
So where are these people?
I don't know what's being taught nowadays, but
that's a good point.
Yeah, these people aren't even getting that because the fuckers never even goddamn read a book in class. They were probably sitting there jerking off in the background, drinking their beer or some crazy bullshit, or playing Game Boy or Nintendo or whatever the hell they do these days.
Well, nobody reads anymore. Even the smart people don't really read. They watch YouTube videos, and
this is technically true.
Audio books.
Books are too damn heavy, so I kind of like the PDF ones. But they're mostly manuals, though. But I mean,
Yeah, mine's mostly manuals, but not by data use because manuals are small.
So what I'm talking about, like the dummy effect. Right, this is the masses. Here's the success formula for life. If you're traveling along a path and you see 100 people go left, you be the asshole that goes right. Guaranteed, statistically, you're going to be on top. Just because whatever the masses are doing, if you go the opposite direction, you're statistically the probability of you statistically coming out on top is a crazy, phenomenal high number.
I agree.
To me, it's just depressing. Just absolutely depressing.
I'm so used to it, though. I grew up with not very bright people. That was the norm. I never expected to live in a world where the majority of humans were enlightened, intelligent. Even at college, they weren't.
Yeah, the problem is I'll get dumber if I talk to too many. Yeah, the problem is, unlike you, I'll get dumber if I talk to too many dumb people in a row.
I don't do that. I don't spend my time with dumb people.
Yeah, I have to actually avoid them, though.
I do. I have my whole life.
I think he's talking about us, actually.
I'm just damn.
Who Hank is? He's not doing a good job of avoiding.
It was a joke. I was just making a joke.
I thought it was a good one. I was like, oh shit, shots fired. Shots fired.
Education does not equal intelligence. Yeah. Like babies are intelligent. Toddlers have intelligence. Animals have intelligence, for that matter.
Yeah. We're not talking about like highly educated. We're just talking about the basic education. People aren't even paying attention to that shit. They're just tossing that shit. Did we all forget the classes in high school?
I blocked high school out. I don't know how much of the knowledge I remember, but I know how to find it when I need it.
Okay. I gotcha.
I mean, I know how to research. I worked in a library. I know how to use it.
I worked as a programmer, system administrator, so I have to research just to do anything.
It's probably also the case that there's an increased number of people that are talking about weird fields outside of anything they have any experience with.
Yeah.
Because as best as I can tell, specifically in psychology, I don't go into it. Like I said, I'm trying quantum energy right now, and it's just problem. It's giving I can't read more than 20 minutes without getting a headache. I'm really having a hard time following along.
Yeah, me neither. I try to stay away.
You have to know the math too, right?
Yeah, the thing is, it's useless for me. I don't care about it. I can't use it for anything, so I try to stay away from it.
But the point is if you actually, here's how I know people aren't reading the bullshit. If you actually pick up like research papers, it's dull, it's boring, it doesn't have anything controversial in it half the time. It's mostly like a lot of series of stances that are very nuanced, that when collected together, they have some type of significance. But individually, because they're breaking it down in the research as to, oh, well, this component fits here. It explains this part. This component explains this part. It's really, at the component level, it's very nuanced. Nobody wants to read that shit. It's not
through.
Yeah, it's not entertaining. If you can't read an instruction manual for fun, you're not reading a research paper at all.
Yeah, I read instruction manual for fun, and I have Sci-Hub in my bookmarks, so I do pick up those research papers, especially when I'm debating someone and say, "Oh, the science says this." Okay, let me look it up. No, it doesn't. Sorry.
I don't know. I've got this funny feeling we all want to get on YouTube and talk about shit we just know absolutely fuck all about.
Oh no! When I want to talk, I want to talk to people who claim to know fuck all about something, and I want to pants them.
Well, wait,
especially after credentials.
Why talk to the people that know fuck all? Like, why even have a conversation with them? If they're making a claim that is bullshit, why have the conversation?
But how do they know it's bullshit? How do people know what they don't know?
Because
the girl with telepathy probably really thinks that she knows what she's talking about.
The reason why is because it's recorded, so I can just go ahead and go back and reference it.
A lot of religious people think that they are talking about things they know. Hell, Andrew from the Crucible a lot of times thinks he's talking about things he knows that he doesn't.
Andrew and Paul, whatever his show is.
It's hard to tell when they know it and when they don't. I don't even know all the time when I'm talking about something I don't know anything about, or that what I'm talking about that I think I know about is not correct.
The only indicator that I have that comes with somebody that makes just an outrageous claim is the level of shock. Like, somebody will say something, it might take me a good 10 minutes to recover from what I heard. Like, wait, what? That's the only way that I know that there might potentially be some bullshit, right? Just potentially.
Oh,
that's it.
Rob made it simple. If you can't show it, you don't know it.
Because you have a like predictive model built up in your brain that it conflicts with.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, my basic criteria is things have to make sense. I know right away when something stops making sense.
Yes, that's my basic.
But they might not know. Like, it may make sense to them based on their internal schema that they're working off of.
I'm very flexible. So pretty much what I have them do is I ask them, like, let's modify a variable. If we change this thing, how would it work? And if the answer doesn't make any is not related to what they just said, then I throw the whole model out as garbage.
What's up, John? Oh, well, anyway, welcome. Glad you could come on. He's probably stepped away.
Well, my kid is a little germ factory all this week. Ended up catching him a fever.
So you're back with it. How are you How are you feeling?
I'm good, but the wife sent the kid to school today. He didn't have much of a fever. He just had a nasty. It sounds like almost like a smoker's cough. I was like, well, I don't know why you're sending him to school. They're going to send him back. Oh, no, they won't. If he doesn't have a fever, they won't send him back. Says, how do you know he's not going to, like, the fever is not going to come back? Like, he's still coughing his head off. Oh, okay, we'll see. So my phone is off. But I hope the school doesn't cough. It's going to be her problem.
Yeah, why did she send him to school?
Because Asian moms are fucking helicopter overbearing, crazy people.
He might lose a day of competitive edge with the other
kids. There's no competitive edge. He's
Tiger Mom?
He's not going to get one. He gets so much special treatment for that whole... My God, these racist bastards here. So, like, being, like, mixed here, that's apparently, like, the gold standard of anything. And so they kind of, like, give him extra treatment and special treatment. It's just a bunch of bullshit, which pisses me off.
White privilege. His partial.
Yeah, which is strangely enough, like, people talk about this shit in the U.S., but it really exists here. It's, like, hilarious. But the problem with it is he doesn't get any challenges if that makes any sense. Like,
he's 3, right? What kind of challenges does he need?
oh, that little bastard needs to fall off the monkey bars just like every
Oh,
other
those
kid,
kind
right?
of. I thought you meant intellectual challenges.
Oh yeah, he needs to learn how to count just like everybody. Well, he knows how to count. Shit, I don't know what you're supposed to know at 3. I really don't. I honestly
Jack,
don't
for a
know.
moment.
Yeah.
Do what?
Go ahead.
I just said, may I interject? One of the things I worked with some people who taught precocious children, and one of the most important things is no matter how precocious those children are, they still need to socialize with peer group members to do that monkey bar, falling down, knees, bullying, feelings, emotions, because they have a lot of time to act and express themselves as mature minds with adults who are interacting with them. But to neglect, and I'm not saying you're doing this, I'm reinforcing the idea of what you just said about monkey bars. Let that little guy get his, let him play in the mud, let him rip a worm apart, hopefully just once you killed it, teach him just to center his emotions like that. And I ideally, let him know that, everyone's stronger than someone else in some areas, right? So just try and curb his instincts to be special or think of himself as better than others, because some of his teachers may push him that way.
Well, I might be a little biased. I might be a little biased here, but I kind of like fully support the idea of throwing some alligators in the swimming pool and then toss him in there. Hey, say, learn how to swim, right? Like, I don't oppose stuff like that.
That's how my mother learned to swim. Her father told her, come on over here. No, trust me. Okay. Whoop. I trusted you. You can't trust everyone, even the people that love you. It was brutal, but that's how she learned to swim. She doesn't like swimming.
That's a really good idea. My mother-in-law is going to come to visit. If I can find some alligators, I'm going to throw them in the community pool, and then she can't swim. So I'm just going to operate under the guise of teaching her how to swim. Hey, Chris, you got any advice how to deal with in-laws?
I get along with mine, so I don't think my advice would help you.
Oh.
Smile and bear it?
No, I actually get along with my in-laws. They don't like me that much, but I don't have any problem with them.
Oh, okay.
In fact, if not for my wife's parents, we'd be beyond homeless right now. If not for my parents, we'd be other kinds of fucked. So our parents have been nothing but loving and supportive of us. So I have no complaints.
Chris, I'd really like to talk to you about that off of Jeff's stream. I mean, the magic formula and things like that, but where in a milieu where it won't endanger anyone's streaming and so on. Is that okay? Maybe later on.
You can ask me now.
Days or weeks.
Well, I'm curious.
It's nothing I wouldn't say.
No.
Nothing I wouldn't say on.
No, I Jeff, I don't want to muck up your channel with COVID-19 and jib jab juice talk.
Okay.
And so on.
COVID stuff? Okay, I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about stuff with my mother-in-law. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant that the magic juice. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
You have Netflix?
Do I?
Yeah.
I used to, but I can torrent anything.
Well, we talked about watching that old Dad's movie. We really should, because that's the kind of stuff Josh was talking about. I saw the trailer for it.
Yeah, I know. It looks funny, right?
Yeah, he's trying to raise his boy to be a man.
Yeah.
And the culture wants him to raise it in this new style.
Yeah, that's why I thought it's something we should watch. It's like this anti-woke thing about what it means to be a man today. So I thought it was.
Yeah, I'd love to watch it. We just got to find someone who has Netflix.
Well, I want to be clear here. So,
I can download it and put it in my server and just watch it from there.
I want to be clear here. The Asians here, this culture here, definitely pushes out. Well, now we're talking about the gigantic vaginas now, right? All the dudes are running around with gigantic vaginas. And
all
by
the
this,
dudes are?
You mean the guys, the boys?
Yeah. So basically, what there's a preference toward boys. So all of the girls get like all of the house chores kind of bullshit. All of the boys kind of get like easy street. And basically, they don't really learn how to, like, I don't know, do the laundry, wash the dishes, cook for themselves. So we got like, well, even across the hallway, you got like 4 or 5 university guys that are piled up in this apartment. It's a way of surviving kind of thing, right? Like it's shared rent kind of thing. None of them know how to operate the fucking washing machine. One of them had to come over and ask my wife for help. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just like, you're fucking 22 years old.
They're not even complicated. They just usually like my washing machine has like a knob, then you push start. That's it.
Oh, they got.
It's complicated when you don't know how to work it.
Yeah, to be fair, there's a couple extra buttons on these things over here. Mine are just in a different language. It took me a couple minutes, but it's the language problem. For them, I don't see what the problem would be.
You can't read the language, that's somewhat more understandable, but I think I could probably still figure it out in any language, but maybe I'm wrong.
Anyone raising teenage boys, please, once they start realizing, they're coming around to the age where their body will be producing certain fluids, teach your boys how to use the washing machine and tell them, something happens at night, you wake up and some, XYZ, wet dream, whatever, gather up your stuff, go do your laundry, just make sure, teach them how to do it. It's important.
It's not even necessary to wash the entire sheet. Just learn how to hand wash some shit. It's not even that hard.
That too.
Hand washing's harder than throwing something in the washing machine.
Not if you're just trying to get a stain out.
Well, my kid started sweeping and mopping when he was 1. Of course, he wanted to, so I was like, well, fuck it, no problem. You can do it. He's really bad at it. Obviously, he missed his spots, but I mean, what the hell? He knows how to load the clothes in the washing machine. He knows how to load the soap into it. He just can't reach the buttons.
And as a reward, because all kids love this, if they're missing spots, then you just put the whole child on the floor and you use them to wipe up.
Oh yeah. Just take a stick and like wrap around string around him and just use him for the money.
Just hang on to it, and you could use their ass just like wipe the whole thing up. It works great. Every kid loves it. Everyone wins. Yeah, it's a good idea.
I did that with my mom's cat once. I hated that little shit. The only reason I don't continue to do it is because my mom beat the living crap out of me for that one. But it was fun for a day.
My granddad used to take whenever I was real little. One of their cats had kittens, and there's this one kitten that was already kind of slow, and I don't know why he did this. It was so mean, but it was hilarious. So I feel bad about laughing about it, but because it's undeniably funny. But it was so sad because it was kind of the slow kitten, and they had this linoleum floors, and he would go up to him, kind of like mess with him for a second, and then he'd kind of take his finger around like where his legs were and just start spinning until he kind of like went and just spin him like this really fast, and the cat would get up and just be like just stumble like the drunkest thing you've ever seen, and I still feel bad about it, but it was hilarious. He might have been a puppy he did with it, not a kitten. I can't remember now. I was like 4, so. My granddad was a funny guy. He died with COVID last year. It was sad. But I mean, he was old enough, though. He was like 89, so. It's not like he died super early or something.
All I know is I interacted with other kids young, and I guess the university students that I randomly run across, learning that they just don't know how to like take care of themselves, specifically because their mothers forbid it, and they decided that their mothers wanted to do the work for them, right? So the kid's naturally going to be relying on it, and I that just set me off. There's no way in hell I'm going to tolerate that.
That's what happened to me. Well, my mom had OCD. She had like this house cleaning compulsive obsession, so she cleaned all the time, so nobody ever had to clean. Like, we didn't have to learn how to clean because you couldn't. Don't even try to stop her from cleaning.
Damn, I wish my old lady had that. That would be kind of cool.
She still had. When I was an adult, if I wanted to clean my apartment, I would just invite my mom over. Invite her over to go out to dinner for the evening, and when she'd stop by the apartment to pick me up, she couldn't even leave to go to dinner until it was clean. That's how much she has to clean.
I only have OCD about the floors, but that's because like I have white tile, and Asian girls they shed like dogs. It's literally everywhere. So I'm like, 2 days in, you can find hair all over the floor. Of course, especially she doesn't like brush her hair in the damn bathroom, right? She comes out in the middle of the living room, sits down at the desk, does her hair, thing like that, and then brushes it there. Next thing I know, it's like a barber shop. It's like shit.
And somehow, if they can somehow find a hair that isn't theirs, and they will, God damn, will you get the question about that?
Wouldn't be a problem. Well, probably they wouldn't be able to tell. Like all Asians kind of have like the same black hair around here. So I mean, statistically, you might run into a bottle blonde every once in a while, but
I dated an elementary school teacher in Thailand, and man, oh man, she was hyper suspicious, of course. And I was staying at a local hotel, right? I mean, not a scumbag hotel either. And I said, look, there's no one else been here, man. You could look at the cameras. It's whatever other guest was here. She was fucking furious. And I didn't do anything.
My old lady's the same. She wanted to install cameras in the house. It's like, fuck off. It ain't gonna happen. But the reason I ended up opposing it, like, and found out how like conniving that shit was, is all of the schools have cameras in there. She literally got in trouble at work because she would take her phone, set it up with a live feed from the school, and watch that shit all day at work.
You ever date a Thai lady? And God forbid you ever cheat on her. They are smart, and some other folks in Southeast Asia and other parts of the world, some women and Eastern European women, where you have quote traditional unquote women's attitudes towards life. Man gets home. I was drinking with the boys. Even if I'm going out with Bill and Joe and Steve. Okay, you go have fun. When you come home, if she's all lovey-dovey, touchy, horny, want to sleep with you, and you can't get it up, you got no bullets left in the gun, you're dead meat. You should not be depleted. And if you're depleted, you're done. And she'll sniff that out.
Yep. Yeah, affairs are real common in the culture. So they kind of like had to learn how to, figure that shit out, however the hell they do it. And they talk about it. They'll sit there like girls gossiping, and they'll share like little tips and tricks with each other. How to bust your man. It's like, shit. Yeah. I get the third degree coming home every once in a while. I put on cologne going to fucking school the other night. Or, yeah, it was like last night. Oh, did I get some shit when I got home. You got a new girlfriend?
Thailand, apparently.
Wait, you put on cologne to go to school without your wife?
Well, yeah. The reason is because, like, you have to sit on the back of this motorbike, and you pretty much smell like, I don't know, car exhaust by the time you get there. So I've always been trying to figure out how to, like, cover that bullshit up. Because I won't ride a car just because it's like, I don't know, it's like 3 times the price. And I can ride a motorbike just fine, not drive, ride. I don't mind sitting on the back of that thing. I don't give a damn, right?
So you
I just can't. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm crazy frugal, like fucking crazy frugal. But I couldn't figure out how to combat the exhaust thing. So I just started using cologne to kind of like cover it up kind of thing. But oh my God. Yeah, she was like, oh, you got a new girlfriend. I can tell. And now, stupid me, I play that game. Yes, I do. So I'm tired of coming home, having to wash the damn dishes, take out the garbage. This is my girlfriend at school, man. She takes care of me. So I did something stupid. She used to like, if I have to go on the weekends, usually eat lunch there. I just stop that. I just like literally don't eat. Of course, like I never really eat lunch during the weekdays anyways, right? So I just cut that off. And she's like, ooh, what you eat? I said, oh, no, don't worry about it, honey. My girlfriend brought lunch. So now I'm just feeding her paranoia just because, like, that's the game I play. I have no problems with conflict.
Marry a tactician, I guess you.
Yeah.
The upside to all of that for any man listening or anyone else listening is if she really loves you, she really loves you. And it shows.
Yeah, I don't care about love. As long as I get my balls drained every once in a while, I don't care. As long as I get to hang out with the kid every once in a while, I don't care.
You're too harsh. Find the romantic within.
I'm not really a romantic person. I'm also not really a cuddly person. I think we established yesterday.
What the hell are we supposed to analyze Saturday? We're supposed to analyze your love life. You don't even have one.
Well, I have a love life. We just call it a sex life.
Oh, I don't know if. Well, I'll leave that up to Emerald if she wants to analyze your sex life.
I just learned not.
Doesn't sound like there's much to analyze.
I learned a long time ago that the best way to deal with drama is to either feed it as much as you can and watch those fuckers burn, and then just turn around and ignore everything. Ignore all the whining and crying. It's actually kind of difficult because it has a really loud sound that comes with it. But Once you can figure that part out, you just feed the shit out of it and just let it burn to the ground. People lose their minds. They're going to be emotional. Let them be emotional.
Yeah, or you can subvert it, or you can out drama it.
Well, I am out drama it. That's why I'm feeding it. Oh, you think I'm seeing another girl? I swear to God, I might go down to the store, grab a pair of panties, and just throw them in my book bag. Just to fuck around. I don't know how they got there,
with real drama of your own.
That's like Russian roulette, dude. Be careful. JJ, be careful.
I wish. I'm not gonna lie. I'm homesick now. First couple years, me being gone, I had no problem. Like I had gotten old over the whole idea of like, you know, not being home. So that's how I could do like a decade and a half of like not being home. But this last winter, I went back home and I had such a blast. Now I'm homesick. It's like if I get kicked out, not a problem. Get right on an airplane, go right back to New York. I got so much shit to keep me busy in New York. I'm kind of looking forward to it. To me, it's a vacation.
So is that what you're gonna make happen? Are you working on that?
Yeah. How it's set up now is roughly I'm doing 6 months here, 6 months New York. So just back.
But are you gonna sabotage what you have now to end up in New York permanently? And you have a kid too.
Yeah, I haven't really figured out how to balance the kid out. That's really the problem. Because I mostly want him to be here long enough to be very fluent in the language. Because I can't find a method for him to learn Vietnamese in New York. Not Pennsylvania. Like I've looked even the surrounding states. There's not really much of an option. So if he's going to maintain any connections with his family here, this is the only way. So I figured like 4th grade, 5th grade, somewhere in there, he'll be fluent enough that I can pull him out, go back stateside. Then the real education begins. I mean, I'll have to step up on the electives, like, you know, like wood shop, but like I got all of that shit at the house. I got enough power tools to keep him going. Hell, I might be able to teach him how to build decks because I got a lot of deck work needs to be done. I have no problem with child slavery, none whatsoever. Hopefully, he can cut a straight line. Well, problems if he doesn't. Might have to set up a jig then. Damn it. I'll figure something out.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
I'm not gonna lie, I got a new leaf blower. We got, you know, those big things that got like the backpack thing on there? Yeah, it's like the big, gigantic, huge things. I don't know why, but like last night it even hit me. I was like, I want to put this thing on him and get it crunk up full blast just to see if he can stand up with this thing operating full blast. Like if he doesn't like blow him across the yard or if he's going to stand still with the thing. I'm just kind of curious. I'm a horrible person, but it's fun. Eh. What's up, Chris? You never thought about putting a gigantic leaf blower on your kid?
To try to teach him to fly, or what's the idea here?
Well, I don't know. I'm curious if he can fly. It's just typical guy thing, right? You just do shit.
Maybe if I had boys, maybe I had a boy, maybe.
Oh,
the girls,
okay.
they're not really.
Yeah, if I had a girl, no, she'd never leave the house. Because I wouldn't have to worry about one dick then. Then I have to worry about all dicks. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, no, I seriously, I've said many times, I always kind of hope my daughter would be a lesbian.
Well,
I'd much rather, I get along with lesbians way better than I do with straight dudes most of the time, so.
Do the old school method, Chris. Do the old school method. So invest in a double barrel shotgun. And all you have to do is set up like your rocking chair on the front porch. Just sit there and clean it all day long. Guarantee you, guy comes by, he ain't fucking around too much.
It just sounds like there's something Freudian about that. I don't know.
Yes, it's a threat without actually articulating a threat.
Perhaps.
What do you think, Jeff?
About putting a leaf blower in your kid?
Or cleaning the shotgun as a form of deterrence.
Well, all my people clean shotguns. Like my brothers had shotguns and learned how to clean it. I don't know how young they were, but it was pretty young. I'm sure they were at least in high school, if not younger.
I got my grandma's old double barrel. I've thought about it, but I mean, I got a boy. I don't have to really worry. I just have to worry about his. I don't have to worry about everybody else's, right? It's not really much of a problem. But if I had girls, I think that's the thing I would do.
My cousin, she's younger. She hunts. They taught her. She's the oldest. She's her and her brother. They taught both of them how to hunt. And she goes hunting all the time. She loves it. We grew up with. I come from a hunting family. We had a gun rack in the house with all kind of rifles on it.
Oh yeah. Well, I've kind of got an arsenal too. I'm weird about hunting though. Like I like big game hunting. I absolutely deplore than small game hunting. That's just way too much work. Having to shoot turkey, yeah, wild
So
turkey.
boring. They took me hunting once. I fell asleep in the duck blind. It was so boring.
That's
Okay,
like
yeah.
me and fishing. I went fishing twice.
Oh,
as a kid, and
fishing
I
was even
hated
more
it.
boring.
Oh god,
Please
so
get me
boring.
out. Get me off of this boat.
Even
please,
if
in the middle of
you
nowhere.
catch a fish, it's still boring.
I don't even eat
I don't
fish.
understand.
Like there's nothing in fishing
mean,
for me.
And people are like, "Oh, you do it so you can go out there and drink or whatever." I could drink anywhere. I don't need to
Even
go
watching
to
it
a
on TV
boat
puts
to
me
it.
to sleep. It's as exciting as golf.
That's what I do with fishing. I just go like we got a boat. We just throw we've got a lake. We've got our own lake. We just throw a boat out there. Cooler. Well, I don't drink beer, but I'll sit there and drink Coca-Colas and shit like that. And that's it. You just lay out, just take a pillow, lay out, take a nap. Right? Nobody can get to you.
How
That's the
exciting.
reason, right? You're out on the lake. Your wife comes like running across there. She can't get to you. I mean, unless she can swim. Which my wife can't swim, so I don't have that
Is that
problem.
what I meant? It's their sanctuary. That's the appeal of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the man cave thing. It just happens to be out on the lake.
I have a man cave. I just go in my room and close the door.
Oh, my old lady's learned how to operate keys, right? She's learned how to take keys
Oh
and
god,
go
they
up there
can
and
use
do
doors now. What are we gonna do?
So I mean,
I put a lock on mine.
our doors have locks. She has
Oh.
all the keys. Which this is a kid's fault. Really have to worry about the kid, right? I got locked out on the balcony for like 2 hours. Little snot.
On
He
purpose?
learned how to. Yeah.
Oh, by your kid.
He was like, he likes. Okay, so I'm sarcastic. So naturally, he's gonna learn how to be a little sarcastic jerk too, right? I go out on the balcony to smoke a cigarette. And he learned how to do like the little jiggle handle thing with the lock thing on there. He figured out how to do that. And so he just waited for me to go out on the balcony and start smoking a cigarette. He runs up behind me, shuts the damn door real fast. And all I heard was click. I turned around like, you better open that up. This little shit's got a big smile on his face, laughing. I'm like, I'm going to beat the crap out of you, which was the dumbest thing I could have said because he's like, I'm not opening the door. I sat there for 2 hours. Oh, was I pissed? Was I fucking pissed? And I had this feeling, had I not said I was going to beat his ass, that he would have probably opened the door. But I gave him incentive to not open the door. So now I'm locked out on there on my own damn fault. I wasn't thinking clearly. I learned I'm not real smart. This is the problem. This is my problem. If I
We'll
can't,
see who's the better tactician.
yeah, it made me feel like shit. My own job I can't fucking do. I got outwitted by a damn 3-year-old. It's like shit. There was just something about that smile on his face that just sent me over the edge. Like, oh, you little asshole,
The
Jesus.
moments you remember.
Yeah. And I'm wanting to I almost wanted to accuse his mom. I was like, who the hell teaches him this shit? But I already know the answer to that. Me. It's like, I can't win. So the kid's pretty much my own kryptonite that I trained, apparently. Crap. It's horrible. It's horrible, Jeff. And the old lady, she's pissed now because she's like, I want another kid, and I'm not giving in. So she's definitely making things worse, right? I swear to God, I think she's starting to teach the kid to do things to screw with me. Them Asian women are smart. They got some psychological warfare going on here. That's for sure.
Well, it doesn't sound like a very harmonious or collaborative relationship. It sounds like rivalry.
Yes, yeah. There's no collaboration here. Are you kidding? No, I'm not joking. I came because, like, I'm offended that there's the claim that we lost the war in Vietnam. Right? I just came back and decided, well, I'm going to breed them out. I just got lazy after one.
Well, trying to outbreed Vietnam is a pretty lofty ambition to be prepared.
It's like 96 million. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, you weren't even around for Vietnam.
Well, it's a reputation,
How did that
right?
impact you?
It never did until I got here.
Oh.
Then my old lady one night jumped on top of me and she's like, "Oh, I'm fuck you up again." Oh, I got scared. It's like, shit, I'm not losing Vietnam 2.0. I'm just not going to do it. Which, that's not true. I'm losing badly. I just don't want to publicly admit to it because it hurts my feelings.
I feel like you're going to be all right.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I'm okay. I'm a man. I can take it. I think. If I don't take it, you'll know it because I'll be like in the corner in the fetal position, crying like a little baby. Yeah, that day might come too. But that'll be the time period I'm definitely not getting no psychoanalyzation from fucking Emerald then, right? Like, that's not going to happen. I'll never want to admit to that to a girl.
Well, you already did. You think it's not going to come up Saturday?
She's not watching this stuff.
You've
right?
already told us about your mom, the wife, this. It's all part of the pattern. This is one of the coordinates of your psyche.
Yeah. I'm weak when it comes to women. I can't help it. This is why I'm hoping you guys like start the whole He-Man haters club, right? Like I'm trying to get in here.
I already have it started. I've been saying it for years. Just bring a chair. Come on in.
Women aren't all that bad. I happen to think my wife.
Yeah, but how many have to be bad before your brain?
I don't know, dude. I hate most men too. I'm equal opportunity in this shit. Most guys I know also suck.
I feel much better around men than women.
Right now, I definitely am more comfortable with like a lot of guys that aren't my wife and daughters and stuff like that. But generally speaking, I've met just as many douchebag guys that I have crazy ass cunts. So
yeah,
it's like a minefield. It's like walking through a minefield, and you're gonna set the mine off at some point. It could be a month, it could be 3 years, 5 years, but at some point, you're going to step on one of their tripwires that's going to blow the whole. And in my case, it's just friendships or working relationship up.
Well, this is why you include your friends, right? You just like, if you're going through a minefield, you basically take your friend, you put him in front of you, and you just push him forward slowly, right? He's going to get the mine. You're safe, right? And when he blows up, when it destroys him, you just get another friend, put him in front. You just keep this cycle going.
I don't know if that works in this situation because they're individual relationships.
Well, yeah, sure. So what I'll do is I'll just invite a friend home. Hey, buddy, like my wife's a little naggy. I want you to sit here and listen to her. Yeah, I'm going to go watch TV. Have fun. It might work. Or better yet, I might pull your version there, Jeff. I think tonight when she comes home from work, I'm just going to announce I'm gay. Let's just see what the hell she does with it. Honey, I'm gay.
Yeah, let us know.
So you're just going to announce it. You're not going to try to follow through on being gay. You're just going to announce it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gay. I'm trying to I just want to convince her of it, right? Problem is, I already know how she's going to react to it. She's going to look at me and say, "Oh, I already knew."
So
she'll turn it on me. She will turn it on me. Any weapon I fire at her.
At release, are you going to go buy some rollerblades?
Well, that that's not like an indicator of being gay around here, right? Like everybody has rollerblades here, except for me.
No. It's a law. the first step to buying rollerblades is you have to come out to your parents. So.
Oh, yeah, no, that won't work in my favor.
It's a
My
joke.
mom, oh no, no. If I'm scared of my wife, I'm 100 times more afraid of my mother. My mother will see. She doesn't like do that beating thing. I got past that after a while when I started laughing after spankings. She uses what we call the humiliation tactic, which is kind of what most women do. She's just really, really super good at it, right? Plus, I can't really seem to lie to her. Like my lie face doesn't work with her for some reason. She can tell like when I'm being deceptive. She can tell when I did something wrong. I just have to walk into a room. She knew I fucked something up. You're just like I'm 5 all over again. You know, I got caught with a cookie jar, my hand in the cookie jar, but nobody saw me do it. She already knows. Yeah, it's same thing at my age. Like incapable of lying to that woman.
What
And I'm
did you learn in psychology school?
Apparently, nothing about women.
Yeah, nothing in terms of like, you know, self-defense.
So don't send you don't send you on any female missions.
Wait, to be fair, right? Like it's usually like very male dominated. We don't run into women very often. Usually.
And so what's the humiliation treatment?
Oh, my mom will do anything. Oh, okay. So what was it? When I was back in New York last time, there was a thing about something catching on fire. Dad was concerned about burning during certain seasons. Keep in mind, New York has like a burn ban most of the time out of the year, right? We burn most of our garbage. We burn like there's 430 acres, something like that. So there's always like a lot of brush that has to get burned off. So we got these big wood piles, you know, as you clean up the yards and stuff like that. And I don't know what it was, but Dad and I were discussing about like, you know, proper time to burn. I don't know why it was, but Mom somehow jumped in the middle of the conversation because we're around the dinner table. She's like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about Joshy. Joshy is incapable of he's incapable of starting fires. He doesn't know how. He's never lived in the woods, right?" I'm like, "What the fuck? Like I smoke. I've got a lighter. I can't figure out how to start a fire." She just goes for the jugular over weird shit. I don't know why. She just decided in the middle of that I was incapable of operating a lighter to start a fire. Hilarious.
Was it in response to something you did, or was she the aggressor? Like, did she start it for no reason out of nowhere?
Well, now let's be fair, right? Like my mom never forgets shit. She could be in the middle of an Alzheimer episode or some
So
shit.
that's passive aggression.
Yeah. My mom will she'll get revenge for something that happened like a month ago. It's not a problem. I'll forget because I'm a dumbass. She'll never forget. And the weird part was, this is the thing that I got in trouble for when I was, I guess, like 10, 11 years old. We lived next to a state park. You know those little those model rockets that you had to like the little engines and the little starter thing? So I used to build those and fire them off. Well, one time I fucked up the design on one. I really screwed one up. So it comes up off the launch pad about 2 foot, then shoots over into the woods. Well, the woods next to our property was state park property. It's not ours. It's not the neighbors, right? Like it's literally government owned. And man, it started a damn fire. Stupid me couldn't figure out how to put it out real fast. And it's a 10-acre piece of property. So I go running back to the house. Dad, you know, woods are on fire. Dad comes running out there. He looks at the fire. We ain't got any water this far, so we got like drag, you know, hoses across. Hell, by then, like a good 2 acres were on fire and burn up. They ended up calling the fire department out there. So the reputation I got within the family was like a little Mr. Pyromaniac, right? Obviously, it was an accident, but shit, right? Like I got picked on for that. So, like, my mom knows I'm capable of accidentally starting fires. I guess apparently just intentional fires I can't do.
Yeah, you sound pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
reckless,
right?
This is true. First chemistry set I got set the bedroom on fire. To be fair, they were the old chemistry sets, right? Like the more dangerous ones, not the
Yeah,
not the bullshit that you get at Walmart now, right? Like that are kid friendly. Like there's no way you could possibly mix anything and do anything. Yeah. I forgot why Dad got me that chemistry set. I think I was having chemistry problems in school or something. I guess he thought it was going to help. It helped get the bedroom.
Chemistry problems, like you weren't learning chemistry. Right.
No, I struggled all through chemistry classes. Like, I struggled through all of it.
Oh, chemistry's easy.
Asshole. See, now why you got to be bragging, Jeff? Why you got to make this personal?
What it is? I found chemistry. I never understood why people struggle with chemistry. So you just
don't you jump in on this, Chris? I see you wanting to speak. Okay.
It's not like math where you just have to balance the two sides.
Chris, did you have problems? Were you an excellent child in chemistry?
I never really got to do a lot of chemistry stuff. I was homeschooled, so it wasn't something that we had a lot of access to. But
did you have a chemistry set?
A very small one. It was fine, but we didn't do anything really complicated. So I can't really say that I don't really feel like I can comment on that too much. I don't think it really counted. It was like the most basic stuff, like the volcano and stuff like that. Nothing that really required like real chemistry. Oh, I learned how to make meth. I'm just kidding. I didn't.
Damn, I learned how to make pipe bombs. Matter of fact, I learned specifically how, Spanish moss. South Florida's, North Florida's a real big problem. And so my punishment used to be having that, like these big 200-year-old oaks have to get up there with this long pole and get Spanish moss out of the tree. Like that was a punishment. You could be there for like literally days trying to win this battle. And so I got smart. I learned how to make we call it like a paint pipe bomb. What it would do is it create a big fireball, and Spanish moss, you hit it with a flame, it'll kind of mostly go away. So I learned how to create basically something like a pipe bomb, but it was made with paint, aerosol paint. Made a nice fireball. Just go right up in the tree and eat most of the Spanish moss up. Dad got pissed. He wasn't pissed that I was getting the Spanish moss out. He was pissed that I found an easy way of doing it. So he had to find a new punishment.
You ate it? Wait.
No, it's imagine like a pipe bomb. You set it down underneath the tree.
Okay, I see.
You light it, run like hell, and when it sets off, it sets like a huge ass fireball. It would be like the same thing as like taking a full aerosol paint can and tossing it in a barrel fire. It just makes one hell of a fireball. Fireball goes up good 20, 30 feet right through the tree, eats up most of the Spanish moss. You might have to set off 5 or 6 of them to clear a tree, but you'll get it. Dad was pissed because I found a easy way around. Of course, I'm being sarcastic.
In South Central LA, they've got a problem with a new species or a new evolutionary strain of Spanish moss. It's the cholo moss. It's really dangerous.
Cholo moss. I don't know that one. I'll have to look that one up.
I'm kind of pulling your leg. Cholo means like a, ese hombre,
that's what I was thinking too. Is it like a gangster?
Oh, shit.
Here, play this. It took me way too long to find this. After the joke isn't even relevant anymore. But I finally found it. So please play this on stream. It's just a funny skit. It shouldn't get us into any trouble. It's a show that's not even. It's a TikTok too. So it should be fine.
You want me to play it?
Yes, please.
Is it puppies? Kittens?
No.
Hang on, I gotta change my sound.
Funny. It's funny in relevance to like 2 hours ago, not just 2 minutes ago or so.
Wait, how do I start it over? Oh, I hate autoplay. All right.
Yeah, me too.
It's coming up.
What are you doing, Cat?
Let me find it. All right, here it is.
They say the hardest part of rollerblading is telling your parents you're gay, and I gotta say, I found that to be true today. I always thought that was some sort of joke, some sort of weird I went over there and rented the rollerblades with this gentleman Clarence to sign the forms, and then said, "Have you told your parents you're gay?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, we can't give you these rollerblades." And I was like, "Oh, it's just a test." They said, "No, it's not." So I drove out to my parents' house in Santa Monica and had to talk with them, and that was the toughest part of the day. The rollerblading itself, not that difficult. My parents' culture doesn't really know about the gay culture. They said, "Sinjay, are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, can we just hurry this up? I want to get out there on the beach, you know, and just have some fun, get the blades going." I mean, braking's tough, turns are tough, but telling your parents you're gay is the hardest part of rollerblading.
Huh. I don't even rollerblade. I've never rollerbladed in my life. I can barely roller skate.
I just think it's funny. There's an old Kids in the Hall skit that's very similar too. It's like this, like these two people are rollerblading, and there's this guy that keeps mocking them, and he's just like calling them names and stuff like that. He's like, "Why do you keep making fun of us for rollerblading? Is it because you're jealous?" And the guy suddenly starts crying, and he's like, "Yes!" And he runs away. It's very funny. That's my.
If you want some really good Canadian comedy, Kids in the Hall were far predated with some very intellectual but also very artfully satiric comedy in a show called SCTV. Second.
Oh
City.
yeah, isn't that's where
I've seen
Catherine
SCTV.
O'Hara got her start?
Yeah, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy,
Second
John
City
Candy,
Television.
Rick Moranis, Dave
Yeah,
Thomas.
I used to watch some of their skits. I have
That wasn't
no
really
idea how I
Canadian
felt.
though. That was Second City was Chicago.
There were Second City branches all over North America, or not all over, but in many.
I mean,
different
many
parts.
of them were Canadian. That's true, but I think the SCTV show was based in Chicago though. But I could be wrong with that.
Wasn't based in
maybe that
Chicago,
was a
although
sub,
some of
but
the talent
Catherine
was
was
sourced
on
from
them.
Chicago.
Okay.
Right. So some of the Canadians, I think, performed down there, and then back in Canada, I think a larger name American producer, I think, with the Desilu Studios. I'm not sure though. May have helped get them started, or maybe it was a Canadian that worked across. I forget. There's also a tongue-in-cheek movie or mockumentary called "The Canadian Conspiracy." I think about Canadians taking over the United States of America by infiltrating Hollywood with actors and comedians.
Yeah,
it's a good comedy.
Now they're taking over our streams.
You were seeing there's another kind of, this is another obscure Canadian comedy show that they did something that I guess the whole internet knows though. If you've ever seen the Power Thirst commercials.
I'm not
What's it
sure.
called?
Power Thirst. Have you guys never seen
No.
that?
No.
Oh my
Will
God.
I get
Okay.
copyrighted if I show it?
No, it'll be fine. This is old classic YouTube. We're gonna play it in a window. It'll be fine. Here, let me pull it up.
I mean, I got copyrighted by some Bollywood company.
Yeah, I know that was for who knows, but they took it down. They released the copyright strike, so it's okay. I think we'll be fine. Let me see. Can I find the? Is it not online anymore? Shit. Okay, I found that. Now I just gotta see if I can find the freaking. I'm gonna get to the link to the. Okay, I gotta find it on YouTube somehow. He keeps trying to take me to
One
like
of the,
know your meme and shit.
One of the neat skits, a semi-long-running skit on SCTV was called Monster Chiller Horror Theater, which was a kind of a spoof on late-night, niche video programs on public access TV. And they often had a so-and-so 3D when 3D movies were really big. So Dr. Tongue, like the tongue in your mouth, Dr. Tongue's 3D House of Stewardesses.
Yeah, I remember those. Those are funny. Definitely.
It was pretty good.
I concur. The Power Thirst one, I think the first one's the only one that's really worth watching. The later ones were okay too, but
this is a spoof commercial.
It's a spoof of energy drinks, but it's just funny on its own right. This Canadian sketch strip called Picnic Face. That had a show for a little while. Honestly, they only had one skit on the show that I thought was really funny called Gun Genie, and it's worth watching too. But this is what got them their start. It's just like a PowerPoint thing, but it's hilarious.
Hey, do you want to feel so energetic? Try Power Thirst. Energy drinks for people who need gratuitous amounts of energy. With all new flavors like chocolate. Chocolate energy. It's like adding chocolate to an electrical store. Sound the alarm. You're going to be uncomfortably energetic. What's that? You want strawberry? Well, how about rawberry? Made with lightning. Real lightning. Sports. You'll be good at them. It's an energy drink for men. Energy. These aren't your dad's puns. These are energy puns. Turbo puns. Science, energy, electrolytes, turbo lights, power lights, more lights than your body has room for. You'll be so fast, Mother Nature will be like, slow down. And you'll be like, fuck you, and kick her in the face with your energy legs. energy.
Oh.
Power running, power lifting, power sleeping, power dating, power eating, power laughing, power spawning babies. You'll have so many babies. 400 babies. Your babies, they'll be good at sports. Make your babies run abnormally fast. They'll run as fast as Kenyans. People will watch them running and think they're Kenyans. They'll race as fast as Kenyans against actual Kenyans, and it'll be a tie, and they'll get deported back to Kenya. The sure thing. Don't gamble on your energy. Snake eyes. Try Power Thirst, the energy drink that will make you sword.
I tell you what, I think it was actually part 2 that was my favorite one. There's one of the first, there's a part in the second one where it's like, where it talks about it has this great joke where it's like, I don't know, it's like the guy crawling through the desert, and it's like when life gives you lemons. What's it? Oh God,
I didn't get most of that one.
It's I can't remember now.
All right, Joshua has one he wants us to see. I guess this is our.
Did any of you see the Trunk Monkey commercials from about 12 years ago? Or 15 years ago?
No.
No?
Okay. Might as well throw them in the chat.
So this one is high production amateur commercial grade. This what this is. If it loads.
No, honey, it's spoiled.
Hey, parents, tired of those out-of-control kids throwing embarrassing tantrums wherever they go? At the grocery store, on the playground, even at the dinner table. You've had it with parenting, but wait, there is a solution. Introducing Nap Time, the latest, most effective tool for child tantrum prevention. It's simple. Douse a rag with our patented time formula, place it over your child's cry hole, press and hold gently for 8 to 12 seconds, and presto, no more tantrum.
I was beginning to think adoption was the only way out. Then a friend of mine introduced me to Nap Time. It's never been so quiet around here.
The secret lies in Nap Time's revolutionary
That reminds me of
formula. Developed by military-trained scientist doctors from NASA, Nap Time's powerful molecules rush to the child's brain on contact, gently inducing instant tranquility.
This is chloroform.
Already put those polish-training crap factories out on the street? That's okay. Nap Time works in any situation. On the golf course. An awkward blind date.
I had a really good time tonight.
It even works on pets.
After we had our first child here, we regretted it almost immediately.
We didn't know that she'd cry so much.
Talk about defective. But thanks to Nap Time, our little Samantha here hasn't made a noise in weeks. I keep her in a shoebox.
Call now and we'll send you your very own 24-ounce bottle of Nap Time solution for only 23 easy payments of $1.99. But wait, there's more. Act quickly and you'll also receive the all-new Dream Sack absolutely free. It's compact and portable for those on-the-go tantrums. Just cover it, tighten it, and forget about it. It's that simple.
We can't breathe good.
So if this looks familiar...
I feel pregnant.
Then don't wait. Order today and join the millions of Americans who just can't stop saying,
Thanks, Nap Time.
Thanks, Nap Time.
Thanks, Nap Time.
Nap Time, when they just won't shut up. Nap Time is not legal in the following states.
That reminds me of GTA 5 with their great commercials.
Yeah.
Or the GTA video games, I mean, with the funny commercials.
What was that from? This one. That's one I can relate to. I was one of those kids. We all were.
It's just
was that from a comedy troupe?
I don't know. I think it was a amateur group that just do random like weird shit videos just to screw around.
You guys ever see Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage? That commercial?
I think I've seen that one. Yeah, it's been a long time.
What do you think you're honking at, huh? What, you don't like the way I drive? What, come on in here, I'll give you a drive lesson. No. You want a piece of me? What's coming out? Get this some, huh? Where are you gonna go now? Well, you can't speed up by anybody else. You think you're better than me? What, you think, oh, I like the way you drive. What, you got a fancy new what? Huh? See, out!
The Trunk Monkey, a revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group, pending approval by Attorney General.
All right, back in the trunk.
Very nice.
Here we are.
I still can't believe my dad let us even touch his new car.
Oh, yeah?
I think it came with the car. Hey. Wait!
The Trunk Monkey Chaperone version, an innovative idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group.
Were these commercials from an actual car sales lot?
I'm not sure.
License and registration.
They seem like
This
they
is the
actually
best
were-
one.
Okay, sorry.
This your monkey?
The Trunk Monkey, a revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group.
I think they might have been real. I'm not sure. Or maybe it was a vendor in the city.
The Trunk Monkey Theft Retrieval System. Because sometimes getting your car back is simply not enough. Another revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group, pending approval by Department of Agriculture.
Funny. Watch one more. Just watch the beginning of this next Power Thirst one. See if it doesn't make you laugh. If it doesn't, then it's only like a minute long. But like the very beginning of it's the part I was looking for. I have it. Just put it on my. I already have it shared up there.
Oh, okay.
What are you waiting for? What if everything you ever wanted came in a rocket can? Power Thirst Rocket Edition! With all new flavors like banana, fizz bitch, and gun! You've had the worst, now try the thirst! Quencher! Power Thirst. Side effects include glowing sweat. Use your sweaty body to fuel sweet rave parties. Power Thirst. Anything is possible. Air blasting. The sport you'll invent because you'll be too energetic for normal sport. You'll feel like a fighter jet made of biceps. What about me and my blue collar? Juice Racy. Turn that everyman into a Beverly man. Beverly stands for beverage. We interrupt this advertisement to blow your mind. Power Thirst now comes in women. Now with preposterous amounts of testosterone. Preposterone. Think fast, douche fag. Power Thirst now comes in dubs. Oh, hubcatting, similar to bear blasting. Oh Lord, why have you forsaken me? Cannon. When God gives you lemons, you find a new God. Power Thirst, Godberry, King of the Jews. Unacceptable. Drink Power Thirst and you'll win at everything forever. You'll win at running, football, arson, weddings, and arse. You'll even win at irony. Oh, top score. Still unconvinced? Well, check out these testimonials from real Power Thirst.
That's the end of it, really.
Yeah, I didn't get that one either. It said college humor though. That might be why.
I think just the God-bearing king of the Jews is hilarious.
That kind of absurdism mixed also with puns is a niche lane of comedy. It's one I enjoy thoroughly, but it's a niche lane of comedy.
Maybe so.
Oh, that might explain it.
They
I'll
did
be
another
right back.
one.
I'll be right back in like I'll be right back in like 15 minutes. Be right back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, please, yes, please go to your kid.
They did one skit on their show that they got that I did think was funny, but it's really long. I won't play it here, but the concept of it is that this guy is trying to kill himself and he's got a gun. And he's got a gun to his head, and as he pulls the trigger, instead of the bullet coming out, a genie pops out of the gun, and he's like, "What are you doing, man? What are you trying to do with that gun?" And he's like, I want to die. He's like, no, man, no, you don't want to die. And he just keeps like offering all this stuff, and the guy just wants to kill himself anyway. And at one point, I remember he creates like a human being to life, and of some sort. It's like his mom or something, like somebody he misses, and he's like, I don't want this. Like, I can you make it go back? I never wanted this. And he just starts zapping him with stuff until the guy like shrivels and dies on the floor. He's like, what did you do to him? Did you make him age rapidly until he just died of old age? He's like, no, I just gave him AIDS. I just riddled him with AIDS. It's such an absurd skit. They didn't do a lot of stuff that I honestly thought was that funny. Most of their jokes were a little bit too absurd for even me. Like they went way over. They wouldn't go over my head. They just kind of veered too much into randomness. But Human Giant, the people that did the you have to tell your parents you're gay to grow up like thing, they were amazing. They only did 2 seasons on MTV, I think, and like they had some of the funniest skits I've ever seen. Like they had one that the whole skit is nothing but like this guy's like staring out a window and his girlfriend comes in. She's like, hey, I just really feel like we've been distant lately. I'd really like to talk. And he's like, sure, yeah, I understand. Why don't you go wait for me out in the corn maze? And and then it just cuts to this shot of him in the window watching her walking the corn maze, and just slowly pulls in on him, and he just goes, corn maze. That's the whole thing, is that she's never gonna instead of breaking up with her, he just sends him the corn maze, and there's a wide shot of just people just wandering around there lost in the corn maze. I think they had some of the funniest skits I've ever seen on television, to be honest.
What's your bag of humor, Jeff?
Yeah, I guess not his bag of humor.
I don't know what mine is. I
Corn
like
Maze
the
is-
what was that cartoon you told me to watch about the mouse?
Yeah, now I mean that's barely even funny. It's more like, I mean, it has got some humor in it, but it's
cerebral.
It's
I
a
like
really dark
cerebral
psychological
humor.
thing. That's one of the darkest fucking shows ever made, and people think it's just been a drunk mouse. It's so weird.
I like satire, parody.
I
like black
love
humor.
satire and parody. I just
like humor
I
with
just
black people,
love
not dark
absurdity,
humor.
too.
Although I like that too.
I just, for some reason, I cannot not love absurdity in a way that I can't really even justify, to be honest. See if I can find the corn maze. The corn maze sketch is literally like 2 seconds too. It's like the whole sketch. I think it's sketch for some reason. The whole skit is literally like 30 seconds long. For some reason, I can never find it. Anytime I've ever tried to find it online, it's just not there. Most
Jeff,
of Human Giant is online.
Do you like any of the old episodes of The Onion or the Babylon Bee?
I watch
Do you know any of their
Babylon
stuff?
Bee a lot. They're hit or miss. Sometimes they're really
Yeah.
funny, and sometimes they're really corny. I like Adam Yensler.
When they're good, they're really good.
When they're good, they're really
Yeah,
good.
no,
Honestly,
when they're I agree.
Babylon
The
Bee was
Onion,
so
I
much
used to
better.
read their stuff, but I haven't really watched their videos.
Babylon Bee was so much better before they started trying to be political. Whenever they were specifically a parody of evangelical Christian worlds and communities and stuff. At least as someone who grew up in that stuff, there was some like stuff that, granted, only someone who grew up in a Christian church would understand, but was so fucking hilarious because of how precisely, perfectly it would get it, to the same degree that the Onion gets shit like that generally. But since they started kind of go wider and they started doing like a lot of the video stuff, I find a lot of their stuff just kind of boils down to woke bad, and I'm just like,
Yeah, they try too hard now. The spark seems to have been kind of dimmed a little bit.
They don't make jokes. They make political points. They do the same thing. They do the same thing the left does. It's like a lot of leftist comedy where like there's no joke there. There's something funny. It's just like, isn't Trump terrible? It's like, yeah.
The soul is gone. The soul is diminished in it. Definitely.
Yeah. I do. That guy Ryan Long, the guy that we watched that one video.
Oh,
he's funny.
He was funny.
He makes.
And sometimes JP Sears does some funny stuff.
Yeah, I like JP Sears. He's funny.
Is he the guy that
he's the muscle redhead dude who does all the really satirical stuff.
He used to be shirtless a lot.
He has a long red hair.
Yeah. He used to be shirtless a lot. No, he just show.
Yeah.
He could be kind of cringe, but I did like him at one point. I admit I liked him at one point, but he can be kind of cringe. There aren't a lot of really good sketch artists out there these days. I swear it. I wish there were. I really do.
Oh, what's his
but
name?
It's just like I'm trying to think of like there's a couple. I mean, there's really good YouTubers that make comedy stuff in general. Oh, Joel Haver. Joel Haver makes good skits. Have you seen him?
Joel Haver. Does he do the animated weird computer animated stuff?
He does
I like his early stuff too.
Yeah, he's done some things even recently that are more like short film. Kind of reminds me of like the more existential crisis kind of Kids in the Hall stuff. That's actually really good. I mean, it's not necessarily funny. Oh, and my favorite is
cerebral, Jeff. You might like it.
Yeah, you might like it. Brian David Gilbert, though, man. Oh, Brian David Gilbert's so fucking good. Have you heard of him?
No, I don't know the name.
He has a pretty big following, but he's not as well known as he used to do stuff on Polygon about video games and stuff, but he's gone solo since then. And he has some of the best, just overall, some of the best skits I've ever seen. He has this one. Let me see if I can find it. One of the ones that really just makes me laugh, and because it's not out and out funny. Like when this thing starts, you're not going to immediately be like, "Oh, this is hilarious." It's really more dark than is funny, but it's like funny because of how absurdly dark it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
But
maybe he'll come on the show.
Yeah, I would love to have him on the show, man.
I'm trying to get Nick Pizzolatto to come on and talk about True Detective.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. That would piss myself if we get that to happen.
He's a hometown boy. Maybe he'll do it for me.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, there's no reason. We got nothing to lose by reaching out to tons of these people
I
and
want
just
to
see what
Shane.
happens. What's that?
Do you know Shane Gillis?
Yeah, neither do I. I don't really like him that much. You like him?
Oh, I enjoy his stuff a lot. Yeah.
I mean, his stuff seems to rely so much on just like being sexist. And like,
who is he
I
talking
want to
about?
like him. Shane Gillis. He's
Who?
okay. He hangs out with a lot of really funny people, but I haven't heard a single joke of his that made me laugh. I have not heard a single joke of his that made me laugh.
He does like Saturday Night Live type skit stuff as well.
Yeah, I know.
That's funnier than
he was
some of
hired
his
to
stand-up.
SNL and he got fired before he got to do an episode. Yeah.
He's got a great skit about Bob ISIS Toyota, and we're ISIS, but we're not like the guy's name is ISIS, right? But we're not like terrorists, you know. We got a local, you know, a small town used car dealer. It's a good commercial.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of
he's still polishing his stuff.
It kind of reminds me of that premise. Reminds me a lot of Crack.com back in the day. Back when I used to work there, put this skit out that was really funny. It's part of their series about stuff that must have happened about a bunch of these co-workers. Kind of like did an intervention on this guy who was still doing the Charlie Chaplin mustache, you know. And it was like right during World War II. They're like, "Come on, dude, it's time." He's like, "No, why should I have to change? Like, I had this mustache for 12 years. My dad had this mustache." They're like, "Dude, you gotta shave the mustache." It was pretty funny. Here, I'll share my screen. I'll show you this one. You might like, Jeff. This is much more of the more cerebral kind of like. I don't know. This is it's actually one of my favorite skits I've seen online ever. It's
I have to do something. Hang on.
Yeah,
I have to hit a button. Okay, there it goes.
I was living in. 3 years ago, I was living in that apartment right there. 3rd floor, leaky windows, cockroaches, the worst. I had $14 in my bank account. But just last week, I paid off my very first Subaru Impreza, and I own my own house in Nebraska. You might say that's wild. How did you get there? But that's not even the wildest part. The wildest part is that the way I went from there to where I am standing right now, all I had to do was work from home, make my own hours, and be my own boss.
That's what I do.
And you can do it too. If you have
I am
access
doing
to
it.
a computer and also internet access, you could be making up to $20K a month working
Not
just a
doing
couple
that.
hours a day.
Yeah.
All you have to do
It-
is work
it's
on these spreadsheets. I learned this strategy from Dorian Smiles, but I put a little twist on it. When I was starting out, I'd spend 6 to 8 hours a day just moving these symbols back and forth between the two spreadsheets. But now I can get that work done in half the time. And every 15th of the month, I get wired between $10,000 and $20,000 straight into my bank account. And where's that money coming from? I don't 100% know. Like I called my bank. I waited like the whole 15th, and as soon as the money came in, I called my bank and I was like, "Hey, where did that money get transferred in from?" And the guy was like, "It's from you." Like he said that it was like I was transferring money from an account I have with a different bank into this one, but I just have the one bank account. And I told that to the guy, and he was like, "Mr. Gilbert, we literally just spoke, and it's your money, and you put it into your." And like that didn't make sense to me until I remembered that I'm my own boss. If you had told me 3 years ago that I'd become so successful I could own not one but 2 mandolins, I'd say you're lying. And honestly, I still can't believe it's true. But ever since I signed up with Dorian Smiles' program, he just sent over the spreadsheets and I got to work right away. But what am I working on? Like seriously, what the fuck am I doing? Right? Like I just moved the same lines back and forth between these two spreadsheets, and like I can't figure out how that's adding value to anything. And yet I keep getting paid by someone who apparently has my name and my voice. And like I'm trying to figure out what happened. I messaged Dorian, but he hasn't responded. Right? Since he sent over the spreadsheets, it's been empty. It's been silent. And like, sure, you know what? Fuck, I get paid ridiculous amounts of money for 2 hours of work a day, but like I'm spending the other 22 hours just thinking about the spreadsheets, and I can't figure out why that. Like, I don't sleep anymore. Right? I don't sleep anymore. I just. 3 years ago, I was living in that apartment right there. Think about that. And you just need a computer and internet access. But as I mentioned previously, I put a little twist on Dorian Smiles' program. You see, you can work from home anywhere, but I specifically bought a house in Center, Nebraska, because it's close to where Dorian lives. He had to give me his address for like tax purposes, and I wanted to meet the guy in real life. But the snag is that the address hasn't existed since 1888. Like there's records of a building being there, but it got condemned because of an enormous blizzard. It's just woods now. But like, I gotta try to find it. It's the only lead I have. And I need to meet the man who came up with this incredible program that can earn you up to $20,000 a month with just a few hours of work a day. But that's not even the wildest part. The wildest part is that you can do this while working from home, making your own hours, and being your own boss. And you can do that too. But that's not even the wildest part. The wildest part is that you can do this while working from home, making your own hours, and being your own boss. Hey, And you can do that too, but that's not even the wildest part. The wildest part is that you can make while working from home, making your own hours, and being your own boss. And you can do that too, but that's not the wildest part. The wildest part is that you can make from home, making your own resources, and being your own boss. You can do that too.
That's not cicadas.
It's easy. I get paid $10,000 to $20,000 a month while I work from home, and you can too. Why don't you join me? Why don't you join me? Why don't you join me? Why don't you join me?
Okay, yeah, that one was cute.
I mean, I can't tell you that every single.
Oh, we got a breaking update.
Okay.
I thought you were worried about your kid. Well, you did call it.
Yeah, he sure did.
Oh, he's on. Okay.
Yeah,
I gotta go pee really bad.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Don't give the update just yet.
Okay.
Well, they just hit the news. It ain't something that I was like privy to first.
Right. That's definitely disconcerting.
Not really. They're not direct attacks on Syria, so
they're not
probably not a real big thing. Like here's one news article. Oh crap. Gotta hit it in private chat, I guess.
Did you like that skit, John?
Yeah, it was. It started going too long for me until it took that kind of horror turn, and then it
Right,
re-engaged me with that. So
yeah,
once he polishes up his timing and just a little better, it'll be good.
He has another one on his site called.
I give that a solid 7 out of 10. That was fun.
He has another one on his site called "Teaching Jacob at the Camcorder," and it's not. It's the longest. I think it's the longest one he has. It's like 10 minutes long, but it's not even really a comedy skit. It's actually a really really cool sci-fi short. It's definitely worth watching. Most of his stuff is pretty just kind of absurd stuff like that one though. He has one about that him and his girlfriend did called "We Like Birds," and it's like this song about how much they like birds, but then it slowly turns into how the birds are their god and they have to look at the birds or the birds will kill them kind of thing. It's pretty fun. I think they're pretty great. Anyway, yeah, that's great. It's always nice to hear that we're heading for war. So,
yeah. Well, you told us this, Joshua.
Yeah.
You said they're going to start bombing sites in Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. Did you say?
Yeah, those are going to be the three. Those are the three militia groups or within those ranges.
Iran linked. That's what you said. Iran linked sites. Okay. Well, your credibility level has gone up just a slight notch.
I trust Joshua about everything except for his home life.
I really have a hard time getting a read on him because I never know when he's being serious.
Anytime he's talking about,
he's
talking about foreign policy,
even when he's not being
right on.
I'm actually just a little bit shocked that it happened this soon. I actually thought it would be a little bit longer down the road. It seemed like, I can't speak for Syria or Lebanon. I didn't have anything to do with that one. Or Syria or Jordan. Syria would make sense because it's just easier to target because Syria really doesn't have they don't have the resources to actually do much. So they're just kind of like easy pickings specifically. But it seemed like Lebanon was trying, as a government entity, was trying to actually kind of appease the U.S. So that's why I always kind of figured, yeah, maybe it's going to be a little further on down the road. I didn't think it would happen this fast. I honestly thought we were like a week or two away, at least.
Oh, even that's fast. Is there? Do you have any indication from this of what might be coming next? Just more bombings in other places?
Yeah, it'll just be random shit here and there. So like right now, I think they're claiming that because Syrian, why they're claiming that they hit the Syrian targets specifically because they attacked U.S. or U.S. bases. I believe the ones in Iraq actually. And we had like
Syria hit bases in Iraq.
Yeah, we have like we actually have a shitload of bases, you know, kind of like all over there. Like everybody thinks we have just bases just inside of Israel. No, we've got them all over the place. We still have several in Iraq. And I'm wanting to say it was like, what was it, like a week or two ago? Maybe a week ago, somewhere in there. We had like a bunch of air bases, or a bunch of our bases got hit. We also we attempted drone strikes and got 4 of our drones shot down. So now we're just basically shooting everything down. I think Turkey got one of their drones shot down. We did that though. I mean, it's a shit show. I just know they're going to be careful not to hit like national targets. So it's not going to be like a Syrian, you know, national base. It'll be a militia group's base or something like that. That's mostly what they'll go after, shit like that. Now Israel on the other hand, they're not being so. They're going so like they bombed the Lebanon airport twice. So like they were actually going after literally the government, saying, you know what, fuck it. If we can't tell the difference between you and your little malicious groups, everybody's on the table. The U.S. is being a lot more specific, but we have a different interest than they do.
Yeah. And this is not related to Israel, right? We're just taking this opportunity to do it.
Yeah. For us, it's really just opportunistic. There's very little cost that comes with it and a lot of advantage for it. We have, for us to hit any type of Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, again, there's like a whole shitload of different groups. The more we hit, the more damage it does to specifically, say, Iran. It's basically just like draining their funding.
Mm-hmm.
They build a house, we destroy the house, they come back and rebuild it. They're just wasting their money.
So they're just going to rebuild these targets that we just hit?
Yeah, they have to rearm it. Hezbollah now, they have a shitload. Like they're not like, if you thought Hamas had a lot of rockets with 10,000, Hezbollah has like fucking 150,000. That was the number claimed or estimated. Like we're talking about, we're not even talking about apples and oranges. We're talking about
where do
like
all these rockets come from?
Oh, they've been stockpiling them for like damn near 8 years. Hell, we turned a delivery boat coming from Iran away from Lebanon. It was headed toward the Lebanese port. Our Navy turned that bitch right back around. Said, if you continue, we're just going to fire on you. And they turned right back around. Said, Buck, no. They were dumb enough to actually use some of those rockets on the deck. Wasn't even like fucking hiding this shit, right? So they didn't have to board. They didn't have to do anything. They just turned their guns and said, come on. If you want to come through, just we're going to have fun at it. It's just weird. It's weird, some of the dumb shit that people try.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, we see that even here.
The most, I guess, what's to me kind of more mind shocking is the amount of information we're aware of there. Like we had, when that dude threw that fucking map down on the damn table, I was just absolutely shocked at how much intelligence must have gone into like, and they said that was only half the targets that they were desiring. So like, but even that, it's like, I think it was like 6,400. That's a lot of intelligence. That's a lot of people has to be on the ground and hunting that shit down. Like that's a lot. I'm kind of impressed with our intelligence organizations. Like, I'm really impressed, actually. I mean, I'll give it.
And they've been working on this for years. Like, this was long before Israel.
Yeah, the Hezbollah buildup, their asset buildup, that's been going on for at least.
No, I mean the intelligence gathering that we did, or did we just do that after October 7th?
No. That it had to have been. There's like no possible way that it could have been recent. It had to have been just as long as, say, like the Syrian war predates that. It has to have been. But I mean, we pick on like military intelligence. I'm sure it's not all military. But that's always been like an oxymoron kind of claim, military intelligence. Like, people pick on it, but I'm thoroughly impressed on how much information they had access to, or how they gathered, or any of that shit. I mean, I imagine satellites play a part in it and everything. But there has to be a shitload of people on the ground. There has to be a shitload of snitches. Like, I mean, there just has to be a lot of moving parts at play that make all of that, gather all that intelligence. I'm thoroughly impressed by that.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have faith in us. It doesn't surprise me that we did all this. I'm not cynical about the U.S.
Well, I'm usually cynical with their intentions. I never believe the bullshit.
I am cynical about the U.S., but I still have faith in it.
But the capability, I have a lot of faith in our capability. But like, what we do and what we say publicly we're doing, completely different.
But that's any country. I mean, that's just real.
Yeah.
But I do trust that our motives are benign and we're working for some larger good.
I don't even know if this is some like grand scheme other than we just want to drain assets out of Iran. So if they spend money, we want to destroy that money.
Well, good.
I was kind of hoping that some footage, maybe like in a couple days, some footage will come about. I'm actually kind of curious now.
Is this a conspiracy, John? If I share this?
Keep getting kicked for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know if it is.
Rice
University scientists.
It's from Rice University. So yeah, I'll share it. It's at least the official source. John wants us to take a look at this.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hang on, gotta change the settings again. This is from Rice University. I have friends that went to Rice.
What we've designed, and we've done this very, very quietly, but we're glad to now release it to the world, is this idea of Tesla phoresis, which is a discovery we made several years ago, and we've been developing it. And Tesla phoresis is, the simplest way to understand it, is self-assembly at a distance, long-distance assembly of materials. And what we did was, because we're at Rice, we had plenty of nanotubes around, so we decided to use nanotubes. And what we discovered was that these nanotubes can actually string together and form wires by themselves in this type of field.
Wow. That's like the iron
fundamental
filing.
idea, force acting at a distance, that you can have, instead of, when you normally build circuits and things like that, you have to have physical contact. Now we're talking about building circuits without actually touching them.
All right, we're just dispersing this. Power on. And then up. I realized that a Tesla coil could actually do this if you designed it in a way to create a very strong force field in front of it. And so that was the engineering aspect. And then once I designed the machine, then all sorts of discoveries started falling out.
Oh, that was a good one.
Telephoresis is one of those things. It's a project that there are just so many avenues, so many things that I think you can do with it. Not just making conductive wires, but taking it in so many different places. Not only just biomedical
Wow.
engineering, but taking it into different industries like silicone chips or exploring different conductive materials.
This also ties in just generally in nanotechnology that self-assembly is very big. That is, if you can get things to build themselves, just as in biology, we build ourselves.
When my son saw it, he called them webs. He thought it was like Spider-Man shooting webs out. And it really is. It's very much like a web sort of stringing out together. And that was a surprising finding. And the physics of that is actually a lot richer than what we had originally thought. So there's new science coming out of this as we go.
That's it? I want to see more. That was incredibly cool.
You realize that's been around.
Really was.
It's been around for a few years. Originally, they were.
If you would, Jeff, if you would, have a look at our behind the camera chat there. I have a document. Pardon me if my voice sounds weird. I was eating ice cream. There's a document there from PubMed, which is an official source. You should have a look at that document. Maybe share the screen so people can see what the document title reads.
That was from 7 years ago.
Yeah, the Rice University.
7
years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's new to me.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
let's see. Hang on, let me figure out a share. Hacking a brain for contemptuous interests, ethical risk of advancing neuroscience. This sounds conspiracy. India Institute of Medical Sciences.
Now, the one above it, actually from PubMed in the chat, there's another link right above it. This one is a little, that was supposed to be the lead into. If you look at the one above.
Okay. I missed it. This is the one you wanted me to share?
Yeah. The other one is shareable too, but this is the more grounded one.
All right. Yes, I would. Let me share the grounded one. Engineered ferritin from magnetogenic. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like you could use this to create circuits wherever you needed them spontaneously.
Now, what you should do is just open up any search engine, share your screen on a clean tab if you would, and look up the terms compulsory moral bioenhancement.
This is the conspiracy part. I knew it wasn't far off.
It's not
Compulsory
really.
what?
I'll share the direct link. 1 second. Hold on a second. Let me get it for you.
Compulsory moral bioenhancement. Yeah, this is. I mean, this didn't even happen.
Well, you should
during COVID. The vaccine is as close as it
this
came.
is also PubMed. If you know anything about PubMed.
Because speaking of Johns, welcome.
Thanks, John. This is show don't tell. If you look at that last link to PubMed I put up, call that up. This is a paper from people who are seriously positing things like this happening. Now, whether it is or it is not happening here, there, or elsewhere.
At least, you know what I appreciate about this? You're at least giving me concrete sources to go, like you're giving me starting points for your narrative. Compulsory moral bioenhancement should be covert from Parker Crutchfield. Is this a university paper?
I don't know if it was printed yet or not, but I know PubMed
Moral
is a good
bioenhancement
source.
ought to be compulsory.
So now if you throw your mind back to the Tuskegee Airmen and the radiological experiments that were performed and the U.S. Naval Intelligence releasing pathogens in San Francisco or San Diego, I believe. I can get you sources on that too. You put that together with the Rice University self-assembly at a distance of nanomaterials, along with compulsory moral bioenhancement being advocated as ethically sound to be covert. And the fact that people are still even arguing about that or making the case for it should terrify you.
It doesn't, because I don't think, He's saying that if it becomes mandatory, it should be covert. I don't think we're anywhere close to those stages yet. There's so many things that would have to happen and so many opportunities to intervene before it does. So
Well,
my mind doesn't immediately jump. I'm not a catastrophist, I guess.
But I'm not a catastrophist either. But how could any one of us who truly is ethical countenance the Tuskegee Airmen experiment? Now, if they were willing to do it, something like that back then, when did the memo go out forbidding that? Right.
Well, that one's generally easy, actually. So
the memo never went out.
No, okay. So experiments within the military, they're not regulated by ethics. Period.
They should be nonetheless. Period.
You could claim they should be, you ought be, right? But they're not. So probably like the biggest thing that pisses me off about the DoD is they have access to all of the best psych research. Because they get to do shit that anybody in, like, say, the civilian or commercial world can't possibly do, but they can. This is the concept of like that ethical standing. No, they can do whatever the hell they want. We can't.
They learned from the best in Operation Paperclip when they absorbed, half the Nazi scientists.
Right, but again, doesn't particularly matter. Yes, they're going to get the first. They're always going to get the first access. And this idea of compulsory within the military, you really don't get a lot of say.
That paper wasn't leaning towards a military output. That was compulsory moral bioenhancement in civilian populations.
Yeah.
What is your worst case? What are you worried about? That they're going to secretly invent this technology and then insert it into us without our knowledge?
I don't think that's going to happen at a mass scale that will initially be noticeable, but it's a distinct possibility insofar as cybernetic engineering goals are meant, cybernetics being the control of information systems and even living organisms. This is a legitimate branch of sociology and computing science. It does cross over into the realm of influencing the behaviors of living beings. We know from many experiments in the past, like the Ash conformity test, for example, that unethical human experimentation can be done, and what might have been ethical in the past, may not be ethical any longer. Military minds, in many cases at the DoD, are unconstrained, as Joshua, indicated to us. So you've got to consider then, with that kind of power being concentrated behind veils of national secrecy, right, national security, other matters like that, one must wonder. I can't help but now think there have been so very many instances where the appearance of impropriety revealed mountains of corruption under that flimsy, it's nothing, don't worry about it. We don't do that anymore. That alone frightens me. But now, for example, with the Tuskegee Airmen and so on, at least they tried to kind of conceal some of those experiments. They tried to kind of elide public opprobrium by keeping them secret. So the appearance of impropriety could be tamped down and kind of hushed away. Now, however, that's not even pretended to anymore. Now, if for example, the White House press secretary, if they can provide the merest pretense of plausibility, the merest whiff of smoke of plausibility, that's accepted. Journalism goes on as normal, journalism in quotation marks. The public doesn't know. You combine all of that with the lack of critical thinking skills and the social divisions and fractionation, and all you need to know is human nature and how fear impacts upon that, and then you unleash additional layers of social conditioning and control. You combine that with the environmental degradation of testosterone levels in your male population, and you're able then to further domesticize your local populations of men who would be troublesome otherwise. Men are the ones who overthrow governments, who engage in violent civil action, and so on. You have your population of shock troops in the prison industrial complex, and you have your neutered male population out and about with falling testosterone rates and extremely harsh, unjust, constitution-violating punishments for things like parading in a capital within the nice museum guidelines of the posts, right? Staying within the lines, having officers allow you into a building, and then being held in solitary confinement for over a year for minor charges. Meanwhile, in other parts of the country, you have sexual assault, repeat sex offenders, rapists, child abusers getting light sentences, 7-8 years, 7-8 months, suspended sentence. You contrast that and you look at what that means in the wider society. There's so many illusions going on. So many illusions that we choose to believe because the horror would be existentially crushing to our spirits otherwise. Rant over, sorry.
That's a whole lot of vague claims stacked on top of each other.
That was my
human nature.
What is?
Yeah, it sounds like you don't trust human nature.
What is?
Or you have a very dark view of human nature and people in power. And that was my impression too. That was a lot of speculation that spun off. That was a whole cluster of narrative that spun off of that one little stimulus.
Right. So you recognize the pattern. I'll give you that one. The question is in that pattern, what are you interpreting this pattern to be?
I'm not discerning enough to claim I know what the pattern is. All I know is that there are a disturbing number of indicators that I detect that lead me to believe that in terms of psychology and biology, human beings are being kind of, at least in the West, are being directed into categories of citizen based on their ability to influence with approved narratives and other forms of social conditioning.
Okay.
A lot of people were told recently that they were not forced to take medical interventions that they otherwise might not have wanted. But force, in this case, is being used disingenuously by some people to indicate they were not physically restrained and struggled against some kind of intervention being performed on them. When the word force is used, it's synonymous in this case with coercion. And there was definite coercion made upon people across the world to accept medical interventions they otherwise might not have wanted. And they were threatened with job loss and other things.
Hold on, let's clarify. By coercion, you mean they were given a group of options. Let's just say option A or option B. And the person had to select the one that what they believe was their own self-interest.
No, I wouldn't be as, and I don't mean this slantingly, I wouldn't be as timid as that. People, at least in my part of the world in Canada, were told you must do this or you cannot enjoy your life as you had prior to this demand of you.
They use those exact words.
Right. Kind of like
I'm trying to elide YouTube censorship for you, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm trying to get down more.
If you want me to be blunt, I'll be blunt.
I prefer blunt. Be a little bit more specific, at least. Kind of like the example
all around the world, people were told you have to take this injection or you're not allowed to come to work, see your children, visit your relatives. This was a medical intervention that was coerced onto people in violation of every tenet of medical ethics and in violation of the Nuremberg Code and the International Declaration of Human Rights.
Problem.
Now, hold on a moment. You look at countries like New Zealand and Australia, where now elected politicians are saying, well, no one was forced to take the medical intervention.
Right. Don't stack them. Don't stack countries on them. It's always been the case. If you want to attend school, if you want your child to attend school, you are obligated legally in several countries to take vaccinations or to vaccinate your child. The let's just say the COVID vaccination is just a new thing on the block kind of concept.
It wasn't a vaccination.
Do what? Oh, okay. So your claim isn't really about the concept of the choice. It's you just don't trust the vaccination, or you don't trust the jab.
It can be both. It is both.
It can be, or it is. Well, okay, one more time.
It can be, and in this case, it is.
Okay. So, like the polio vaccine, that was mandated for several years, several decades, right? Was that some type?
Pardon me a moment.
Okay.
Pardon me a moment. In many cases, people can apply for exemptions to certain otherwise softly mandatory medical interventions.
Yes.
And people can
They had
exert
COVID
religious rights
exemptions.
to this.
Yeah,
there
you
were
can-
many people. Yes.
Yes, there are exemptions. There are religious exemptions. There's all kinds of weird stuff out there.
There are
And
many
they
different kinds of exemptions.
right, and they come with limitations too. So
yes.
So we're just adding one more. We're calling it a COVID vaccine. Okay, I'm with you so far. Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
not a
So
vaccine.
right in the sense that it doesn't prevent transmission. I got what you mean.
It is definitionally. I'm sorry. Definitionally, am I even saying that right? It is not a vaccine. It is an injectable therapeutic drug. It is not a vaccine.
Right.
Look at any definition of vaccine from
I'll bite.
1965, 80,
Yeah.
1970, and then you look at them changing it in real time, right?
Right. I'll bite.
Not a
I'll bite.
vaccine.
I'll bite on the whole definitions got changed, just like how mass shootings were changed by the FBI. Like I'll bite here, right? I'm still trying to get down to the kind of like the bottom of it. Is it the case
Bottom
that
of
you
what?
believe? Well, the bottom of the conspiracy part of this, right?
Well, what's
It's
the conspiracy part?
I don't know, the part that you believe that this mandated inoculation is some type of I don't know implant by the government or some entity or some I don't know.
never said any such thing.
Okay, so then what's the problem? It's literally the a duplication of all previous vaccines before.
It's not a vaccine.
Okay, other than you dislike the definitional change. Got it. Next.
It's not a matter of disliking a definitional change. It isn't what it was claimed to be. That matters. And the fact that it was so vigorously insisted upon as being called what it was not should be an immense warning to people. Now, the other immense warning to people is that people were coerced into accepting a medical intervention, their fundamental God-given or universe-given or whatever superhuman authority you want to invoke. I'll use God for their God-given right to bodily autonomy.
So call the coercion. Call the coercion what it is. You can either get your child can either get vaccinated or not attend public school. Which kind of against public school already.
They need COVID vaccines now to attend school.
I don't know.
You're oversimplifying things.
They did initially.
Pardon me. I'm talking about adults going to work and then being told, "Oh, Bob, you got to take this, or you can't come to work anymore. I have a mortgage and 3 children to feed." Well, it's your choice. You can take it or not. That's not a choice. That is coercion.
But now that's not by the government. That's by commercial industry.
It doesn't matter who it's by. It is coercion. It is illegal. It is immoral. And it is odious. And everyone should be up in arms about it.
But that's a strong reach on the coercion part.
No, it's not.
Sure, it is.
Take this or lose your job. Take this or you can't see your family.
I'll give you other examples.
Parental visitation rights with your child.
I'll give you other examples within the commercial grade. Get a certificate or you cannot be employed here.
Pardon me.
That's coercion. That's coercion.
Pardon me. A professional requirement for a legally regulated industry is something wholly different than taking a medical intervention against your will. So I don't believe you. I don't believe this is going to be productive because you are. I don't think you're doing this willfully, but you're comparing categories of things that should not be compared. And the fact that
pre-medical screening
in for a vaccine that is not a vaccine to be called a vaccine when it's not a vaccine, that right there is a big red flag. And any aspect of coercion, it violates medical ethics, also the Nuremberg Code. That full stop right there should alarm everyone, regardless.
I had to get a booster
regardless
shot
of any
to
other
work at the
precedent set
hospital.
in society. medical ethics, the
like
foundational
10 years
element of
ago, way
medical
before
ethics
COVID, I
cannot be
had to get
violated.
a booster shot to work at the hospital. It was required. I had to get my immunization records updated.
I have to give blood at least every 6 months.
Being required to take a medical intervention to otherwise go about your life, especially when it has no long-term safety data associated with it, and when one of the largest pharmaceutical companies on the planet, the PF one, has a long criminal history with billions of dollars being paid for mismarketing, for bribery, for other aspects of corruption around the drug industry. That right there also should make people wonder. The fact that there's so much regulatory capture going on, the FDA has something like 30% of its budget drawn from big pharma. The perverse incentives that are clear for all to see, the revolving door between the FDA and the CDC and large pharmaceutical companies, boards of directors, and so on. The corruption is plain for everyone to see. And then to have that product mandated for people was absurd. Did people forget what thalidomide was and what it did to human beings? Does anyone here, Jeff, Chris, Joshua, do you know what thalidomide is?
Same thing cocaine did for Coca-Cola. Rheumatoid arthritis. Yeah, what? So we've got a long history of drugs being really bad things and then eventually getting taken off the shelves. At least
you're not picking up on the subtlety.
You won't hear. I mean, I got the vaccine and I have chronic vertigo forever. So, I mean,
I have a question.
It doesn't happen to everyone.
I have a question for
the
John.
deformity linked to the drug was not discovered for something like 5 years after it hit market, and that was after testing. So you
John,
put those dominoes together.
I don't see. It's the dominoes. I think like people can bring in any dominoes into the set that they want, but sticking on one domino at a time and tracing one to the next is very careful is what I try to do. But I don't know how it is in Canada. But here in the U.S., to attend public school, as Joshua said, and then to attend college, I had to update my immunization.
Pardon me, please let me
requirements.
Save
so
you time.
I had to get boosters to attend college, and then later, as an adult, to work in a hospital setting, I had to do the same thing. So,
pardon me a moment.
We don't even need to bring COVID into this to have this debate.
Yes, we do. Pardon me. Those were products with long-term safety data behind them.
So
that is a very important difference.
Okay.
And they were not administered under emergency use authorization. That is a very important difference.
Because at first you had said any medical intervention against their will, blah blah.
Yes, because against their will is the part.
But now it's because of a safety. The safety concern is what.
It doesn't matter what the safety concerns are. Violating an individual human being's rights in a case like that can never, should never, ought never to be made a blanket part of policy.
But
anywhere.
Why would that not apply to things like booster shots?
I don't understand why people don't get this. I am talking about a product.
I'm just confused about your argument because first it was.
Well, pardon me. My argument is that it is wrong to violate someone's medical choices through coercion. Fundamentally, that is my issue.
But they do that with things like booster shots too.
They don't coerce you into taking the booster shot.
You have to. They are required to attend school and to work.
Then you can go to another school or another job.
Right, but how is that not coercion? But the COVID vaccine is. It's the same exact mechanism.
Right. You could have refused the jab, gone to a private school that didn't have the requirement. That's your choice.
It is not exact. Let's say you're in your 3rd year of school. You've sunk all kinds of money in. You can't graduate until you complete your 4th year. And in the 4th year, suddenly, there's a new policy. You have to take this drug with no long-term safety data or you're fucked. That's coercion. That isn't the same as before you apply to this job or come to this school, we need you to do X, Y, Z, and you check, is that legal? Are there exemptions? There were doctors, at least in Canada, who were told by the Ontario College of Physicians and Surgeons, do not issue exemptions to anyone. They couldn't prescribe ivermectin, they couldn't prescribe hydroxychloroquine, and they were told and they were threatened with censure and even license revocation if they were providing exemptions, religious exemptions, health-based exemptions for COVID shots. Some of those doctors, two of them, one of them is Dr. Kulvinder Kaur. I can get the other name. Their licenses were yanked. They faced opprobrium, professional censure. My whole point is the principle expressed by the Nuremberg Code, the principles enshrined in there with the rights for anyone subjected to medicine to have the right of withdrawal of their consent at any point. Every standard of medical ethics was ignored. It was bulldozed over. It set a precedent, much like the censorship, the nearly fully open censorship on Twitter.
That actually wouldn't apply. So like that wouldn't actually apply though. You can't like get like a shot and then later decide, oh, I don't want the shot anymore and have it removed from your system.
I never said that. I don't know how you pulled that out.
And some of this might be Canada. I don't know the difference.
That covers the withdrawal part, right? The whole withdrawal.
No.
You can't withdraw from it.
No, you don't understand the point. You may withdraw consent at any phase of a medical treatment if it's a course of treatment, a course of shots. The Nuremberg Code requires you, if the code is being followed, for the participant to be able to withdraw. I don't want the third shot. Well, you have to have your complete. I don't want it anymore. They can withdraw their consent at every time.
Right.
All the little the hair splitting that's going on.
And people
doesn't matter what drug it is, doesn't matter what situation it is. The Nuremberg Code was violated. That's important. Basic medical ethics.
But I don't understand how booster shots don't also violate it then.
Well, it depends on whether it's mandatory or not.
It is to certain, like if you want to work at certain places, like the same conditions on the COVID vaccine. The government's not mandating it for all citizens, but private employers or private institutions are mandating it to get the benefits of.
Some of them are. Let me ask you a question. You know that in contract law, you cannot sign a contract that surrenders any of your constitutional rights, right? The contract would not be binding, even though you will willingly sign that contract. If it's later found to have violated your constitutional rights in the states, that contract is null and void. You can't be held to be paid penalties for breaking the contract because the contract was vitiated. It was nullified from the beginning.
They've been doing this my whole life. It seems like the legalities would be worked out by now. Like
they have.
How is it that the legalities would be worked out by now when you had people walking around the U.S. Capitol on January 6th being held incommunicado?
I'm talking about booster shots.
No.
It seems like if they violated constitutional rights, they would have been stopped by, like it would have been challenged and stopped by now.
Really?
Well, now here's where we get to the conspiracy part.
So, okay, you're not plugged into the J6ers. Fundamental human rights are being abrogated all over the world now.
But I'm talking about booster shots, and why are those not an example of like what makes them the exception to what you're saying? Because they've been going on my entire life, and nobody's
were an exception.
Framed them as violation of human rights.
It's just simply an argument of I should be allowed to operate or utilize government resources without complying with specific requirements. So AKA I cannot attend a public school without my immunization, thereby my rights are being violated.
No. Absolutely not. That is the
But why is
maybe
that not
perhaps don't
why is that not a violation?
Pardon me a moment. When you are engaged in a discussion like this, the principle of charity is important in the sense that you should try to put the best spin on someone's sometimes rather imprecise words to you. I'm not talking about
difficult without specifics.
That's not the angle here. This is not the angle. The specific is coercion should not be applied in medical procedures if ethics are to be upheld, medical ethics.
Yeah, you have option A or option B.
And
people wanted to choose
option C is to have your rights respected. That's option C.
Option C.
And the very
Okay,
fact that
okay.
option C isn't being
Hang on,
offered
hang on,
is
hang on. I need to
under-
cut in here. I have some bad news, or it might be good news. I have to wrap the stream up because I had something to go to in a few minutes. We're welcome to continue this tomorrow, but I feel like I am doing what you described and trying to understand your position. That's why I keep asking the question. I just don't understand, like what you have framed as coercion would also apply to things like the booster shot. So I don't understand why they are exempt from your.
They're not exempt.
It
I never
was
stated
different
they
in
were
Canada,
exempt.
though. Canada
Then that's
was
that's a
doesn't
whole
matter if it's
different
Canada
debate.
or
Then
not.
that we can definitely have that. I'll be back tomorrow.
I
What
never
happened in
stated they were
Canada is
exempt.
very different from what happened here because I wasn't coerced into anything. I fucked up by voluntarily taking it, but I wasn't coerced. But
I was
Canada was a whole
confused.
different thing.
Face that kind of coercion.
I got it because I wanted to. I was ready for things to open back up, but I really do have to end it. And,
Cheers. Have a good night.
All
Okay,
right. It's been a great conversation, guys.
Thank you for
I've
coming.
just
Yes,
been
I do
listening, but it's
appreciate
been really
you,
good.
John.
Yep. Catch up, guys.
Bye, Josh. Bye, John.
All right, let me catch up on some comments real quick. That's on rush.
We've had to.
Right, they're like that's what's confusing me is like several arguments are getting conflated into one. There's the argument about the COVID vaccines themselves and the safety of it, but that is separate from the principle that's being put forth, which would also apply to things like the booster shots, which does have the safety record, and those are completely like, as far as I know, they're still valid. Nobody said that they're a violation of human rights or constitutional rights yet. So we accept it for things like booster shots, but we apply a different standard to something like the COVID vaccine. And I think the safety and the rushing through trial and everything is a different argument than the principle of coercion and the Nuremberg rights and things like that. And it seemed like the two were getting mashed together in this one argument. I wasn't talking conspiracy. I wasn't the one saying there was a conspiracy behind it.
It was definitely being framed as a conspiracy. It was definitely being framed that way.
So anyway, I really do have to go. Thank you all for coming on. I'll be back tomorrow. We can pick this up.
So we're going 3? Is that?
Yeah, 3 Central. In fact, I'll schedule it as soon as we get off of here.
Okay. We'll see you then. Bye.
Okay.
Later.
See everyone then. Take care.